elbows, winning game after game. The opposition has never been as heated, as fierce, the most elite chess tournaments in the world.
Hello, and welcome to our live coverage of the 2020 Pro Chess League. My name is Caleb Denby, and I am joined by the manager of the world champion St. Louis Archbishops, Mike Kummer. Mike, how do you feel about the changes going into the season?
Oh, man. Well, at first I was a little upset because, you know, our board four, we recruited all the best board fours. That was like our secret weapon.
Yeah.
That's how we accumulated 2 out of the 3 championships. But, all right, hey, you don't want a rating cap? Guess what? We'll get the 4 best players in the whole world then, okay?
Yeah.
So good luck, everybody.
Of course, the big change to the format this year for the Pro Chess League being that there is no rating limit. So all of that is out the window, and of course, St. Louis is a hub for some of the best chess players in the world, and we got them all.
Yep. Wesley So, he was a Webster student, so he's got some St. Louis ties for sure. Fabiano currently resides in our dear city of St. Louis, along with Dominguez. And
we see the players here.
Yep, there's Dominguez.
Leinier, of course, just changing federations in the past year, becoming a U.S. player and making some connections here in St. Louis, joining the winning team.
Yep.
And who is our board 4?
Board 4 is none other than the Liem, another Webster student.
That's right. Former World Rapid and Blitz champion, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, you do not want to play this guy in a fast time control, okay? He's just going to eat you up.
Yeah, so it really speaks to the power of this team that we have a world champion playing on board 4 on our bottom board.
And then, of course, our secret weapon, board 5, who we can't even play, Jeffrey Zhang.
Another, of course, up and coming, the future of American chess, Jeffrey Zhang, crossing the 2,700 barrier in the last year, and to not even make this team is crazy.
Right. Yeah. So, and of course, we round out the team with a bunch of the SLU kids.
Yeah, maybe we can actually pull up the full roster here, see who else we've got on the team.
Going forward, here we go. So check it out. So SLU guys, Benjamin Bach, SLU's excellent coach and recruiter, Alejandro Ramirez.
Along with Varakobian, who also works with the SLU team.
Yep. Yeah, I saw him at the Pan Ams in the picture with him. So maybe he helps him out and trains them up. So, by the way, SLU did qualify for the Final Four.
Yeah, congratulations to them.
Yes.
They'll be making their way to the President's Cup once again to try and bring back home some more accolades to St. Louis.
Hopefully they will. And the best I am on the planet, Nicholas Theodoro, who I have the prediction by 2024 he will be playing in the Grand Chess Tour event. I guarantee it.
I look forward to it.
He's the best. So, and then rounding out the team is
JJ Alimirandi.
Yes, JJ. And Dorsa, who will be calling the action with you at come 3:15. And of course, our board 4 extraordinaires, Josh Bloomer, Julian Prolico, and Nicholas Rosenthal.
Yeah, of course, Josh and Julian, especially last year, bringing home that big victory for us.
Right. Well, Josh got us to the finals. Without Josh's help, we ended up tying Montclair Sopranos 8-8.
Yeah.
And we advanced on draw odds. And earlier in that match, Josh was able to draw Nicholas Cheka.
Yeah, really giving us the key half points or full points even when we really needed them to round out the match.
Right. So yeah, we are in debt to Josh Bloomer. And by the way, believe it or not, with all these guys on the roster, Josh Bloomer will be playing in one of our 7 matches.
All right.
I guarantee it.
All right, we'll see how he manages to perform in this brave new Pro Chess League where everybody's at 2,700.
Right. Yeah. So right. Our matchup today is against the New York Marshals. And they have everybody on their team is above the 2,600 barrier. So
yeah, of course. I think we can actually pull up and see who exactly we're playing. They do have one very, very notable name in Hikaru Nakamura.
A former St. Louis Archbishop of the U.S. Chess League, not of the Pro Chess League.
Of course, the precursor to the Pro Chess League. I think the commissioner, Greg Shahade, was really championing the U.S. Chess League back in the day on ICC.
Right.
Way back in prehistoric era.
Yeah, we don't even talk about it anymore. Right.
But yeah, of course, Hikaru Nakamura, the New York Marshals Board 1, will be the guy to look out for. Of course, Hikaru has always been one of the top online players, if not the top online player, and a very, very strong player in both Blitz and Rapid, as well as, a mainstay in the top 10.
Oh, for sure. And this year, another change for the Pro Chess League, instead of the G15 plus 2-second increment, it is now G10 plus 2-second increment, which would bode well for Hikaru, for sure.
Yeah.
If he figures out that his game has actually begun, instead of just like drifting off into space, okay? So, if he gets that right, maybe he's got a chance. All right. What else we got going?
They've got a youngster on the team as well in Sam Sevian, so he'll be somebody to look out for. Sam, of course, one of the top U.S. juniors. Not too far behind Jeffrey Zhang, actually.
Yep.
And I say junior, I think he's actually over like 19 now, so he doesn't even qualify. But
right. So way back in the day,
yeah.
I was actually the one to arbitrate his grandmaster clinching victory against Gorovets right here in the St. Louis Chess Club.
Yeah, so Sam, a turncoat, turning against us now, playing for the New
Right.
York Marshals. But also, Gusainov is a very, very talented player. Definitely, he's one to look out for. He might be able to score 1 or 2 upsets. And then rounding out the team is, of course, Miranda. A player I don't know too much about, but over 2,600, I'm sure he's...
You gotta be okay, I guess, right?
Gotta be okay.
So,
I agree.
Also in this event, what am I trying to say here? What am I trying to say? It's just so exciting today. We're the defending champions.
Yeah.
We were actually double champions last year, believe it or not. Maybe people didn't know about this. There was a thing called the Summer Series, and we won it. We won it again, with the help of Josh Bloom.
And especially Varakobian was our GM representative for that Summer Series.
Yes. He led the players in the matches, the online players. Like I got to actually play for the Archbishops last year, scoring, and so did Caleb.
Yeah, we all got a part of it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We won the regular season. We won the Summer Series in 2019. We're hoping to repeat here in 2020. Yep. And in this first matchup, while we did just take a look at some of the New York Marshals, and of course they are very, very great players, but it turns out even Hikaru Nakamura is unfavored in how many of the matchups?
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at. So they are going to need some upsets. A lot of upsets. Because guess what? Of the 16 games today, the Archbishops are favored in 15 of them. 15. So even Hikaru, their board 1, is going to be gunning for some upsets. He's only favored against Liem Lee.
Yeah, of course, Fabi on board 1, Wesley on board 2. It's going to be a crazy, crazy event tonight.
Hey, you made my job a lot easier, Pro Chess League. Thanks a lot. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah. Of course, without this rating cap, this is really going to give us, I think, a huge edge in the tournament. What teams are you looking out for, though?
Okay, so we have our arch rivals coming up on week 3. The Chicago Wind.
Ooh.
So the Chicago Wind is basically 3 teams into 1. So they try to form like a super team. Of course, Webster, Chicago, and Minnesota all formed one team, the Chicago Wind. So
any big names on that team that we're going to have to look out for?
I would think they've got like Ilya Nishnik, the brain.
Ilya, of course.
Yeah, he's a heck of a player. And I think they have Andrew Tang.
Andrew Tang.
So, Andrew Tang. Just a shout out to another. He might be on the Chicago Win as well. Aaron Grabinski just got his, finally got his IM title.
Yeah.
Shout out to Aaron
Congratulations to
Grabinski
him.
with his win against.
So yeah, it sounds like we've got a lot of the SLU team. Chicago seems like they've got a lot of the Webster teams. So believe it or not, even a St. Louis rivalry going on there.
Yeah, right.
We've got so many strong players. We had to give some of them away to Chicago.
Right. So yeah, an interesting part about another rule change in the Pro Chess League this year is in order to be considered local, you actually, it's not by where you live, It's by whatever your federation is. So actually, like Benjamin Bach and Nicolas Theodore are considered free agents this year for us since their federation is from a different country.
Of course, those two players attending St. Louis University, but representing their home countries while they play. So they're free agents that we picked up this year then.
Right. You can only play 2 free agents and 2 local at a time of the 4 players. So you can't just stack your team with a free agent.
Understood. So we talked a lot about how strong our team is and how we're squaring up against the other teams this year. But what is the actual format like? Of course, there's the regular season and then the playoffs.
Sure. So there's just 7 games this season. So it's very compact.
All right.
So it's 4 players per team, all play all. So if you're board 1, you're going to be playing board 4, 3, 2, and 1, and likewise. Okay. So if you get 8.5 out of 16, you'll get an additional 10 points added to your score. So basically, you really want to get 8.5 points. But for every additional point you get, like if we get 15 points, they'll add 10, so we'll have 25 points in the standings. So if we win every game we're favored in, we'll be top at 25 points.
So what you're saying is, even if we have won the match, there's still a lot to play for.
Right,
because you got to improve your standing in the division, right?
Right, yeah. And so the 4 highest earners at the end of the season will all get an automatic full point bye in past the playoffs. Because 13,
very valuable.
Right, 13 teams will make the playoffs this year, and 4 get the first round bye. And then you're in the quarterfinals, and then if you win that, you'll be in that final 4.
All right. So once again, very important. The points are not just decided by who wins the match; it's what your score is in the match. So if you have blowouts every round, you're really improving your chances in those playoffs.
We'll never be 7-0. We'll just have enough points that reflects that we won all our matches.
So you mentioned Chicago being a rival. Are they actually in our division this season?
Yes. So there's 3 divisions now. We are in the Western Division, and you can check this all out at ProChessLeague.com. But yeah, we're in our division with UK Lions. Oh, the Canada Chess Bros this year.
Gotta look out for them.
Grishuk this year too. So.
Very dangerous. I think they were actually playing earlier today in their match.
Yeah. So we are the featured match today at 3:15. So all the other Western Division games should be concluded by now, or just about wrapping up. Like the Chicago Wind were in action as well. So and by the way, if you do go to the ProChessLeague.com standings, like check this out. They have the Archbishops in dead last. Can you believe that? That's the only time we're going to be there. We're going to flip the script on that.
Expect to see us at the top of the leaderboard after today.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so of course, the Chicago Wind we mentioned in our section. Of course, the Canada Chess Bros, an online favorite. But in the end, there's nobody that can compete with this team that we've got lined up, right, Mike?
I mean, they just made it too easy this year. I mean, they try to foil us. They try to foil us with our board forward strategy. Yeah. Everybody was complaining, how do they get the best board forwards? Well, I'll give you a hint. They got a really good general manager this Archbishop team.
Yeah. Once again, we see that full roster there with Fabi, Leinier, Wesley, and Liem Lee all in our top 4, all over 2,700. And Fabi, of course, way over 2,800 these days.
Right. And if you do look at that roster, in all fairness to us, besides Josh Bloomer and Jeffrey Zhang, they all have strong St. Louis connections. Most of them actually reside here. So it's not like we're picking these guys up from, across the pond.
You say Jeffrey Zhang doesn't have strong St. Louis connections. He doesn't live here, but it feels like he's visiting 3 times a year to play.
At least, he plays in. He just won the Fall Classic.
Yeah, he's now a 3-time Classic Series champion, winning the Summer Chess Classic twice and now the Fall Chess Classic as well, I think.
And
maybe spring.
Yeah, right. And he did his clinching Grandmaster title at the Chess Club right after the 2015 U.S. Junior Open.
Yeah, so a great pickup in Jeffrey Zhang this year as well. And this round, to start off, we're of course fielding our top 4. So that'll be a true test of the New York Marshals to see how they can stand up against the battering of 427 minutes.
Right. Well.
All right, Mike. So I think we've got a lot to look forward to today. I see online here we've got actually Leinier, I think, was warming up with some bullet games.
Oh, fantastic.
And all our players are starting to log on here.
Is Fabiano logged on to chess.com/live yet?
Oh, let's see. Let's see if
There
we've got
he
him.
is. He led us to victory last year in San Francisco, the one and only Fabiano Caruana. And guess what? If it was a Google News alert story, it was called the top 7 chess moments in 2019.
Yeah.
Number 7. That's right where you want to be too, at the top of the page. St. Louis Archbishops clinched the champion, the 2019 Pro Chess League World Championship. I got the proof right here. The World Championship. He went, of course, 7.5 out of 8.
So, yeah, if I could play devil's advocate.
All right, go for it.
Of course, Fabiano, one of the best classical chess players of all time, drew Magnus in the World Championship, going a level score after the classical. But there's always been some talk, some doubters, thinking maybe he's not the greatest rapid player, not the greatest blitz player. So how do you think about Fabi in the board 1 slot, facing people like Hikaru, facing people like... well, Hikaru.
I love it. I love
it.
So right. If one guy on this whole planet didn't exist, who would get all the accolades? Right? Just is Magnus in the Pro Chess League? No. So we got the best guy.
All right. So you think Fabi is the number 1 seed, even though the time control is so fast?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for the guy that he has haters. It's like, okay, this one guy's better than me. Okay, forget that guy. He's not in this league, so I'm the best. And he's gonna, and he was the MVP last year too, of the finals and the regular season. So it's like, what more do you want?
Okay, well, we're favored in 15 of the 16 matchups today, like you said. What's your predicted score? What do you think we're gonna get? You think we'll get the full 15, the full 16?
Well, one can hope, but as I tell my players, hey, just give me 8.5, and then we'll get that extra bonus 10, and we'll take it from there. Just win the match.
All right. Well, Mike, is there anything else you want to say about the Pro Chess League and our chances in it this year before we go to a break?
I really like my chances, but, just let's get to the Final Four and take it from there and see what happens.
All right. Thanks very much to World Champion Manager Mike Kummer. We will be taking a short break, and we will come back at 3:15 with me and Dorsa Derakhshani with live coverage over the Pro Chess League games.
When you visit St. Louis, you'll probably want to watch the Cardinals or the Blues. What about after the game? Heading back to the hotel would be a major error. Instead, boogie through the city and discover the music that gave the blues their name at the National Blues Museum, Broadway Oyster Bar, or even the legendary Blueberry Hill. So whether you love the Cardinals, the Blues, or the Blues, come play with us. Hey, you guys know I can't play this, right? St. Lou is always exploring.
Be surprised. Be intrigued. Be delighted. The World Chess Hall of Fame in St. Louis is nothing you'd expect and everything you love. 3 galleries highlight the history, culture, and creativity behind the game. Explore chess in ways you never imagined. It's a one-of-a-kind cultural institution where rare artifacts and world-class art play together. The World Chess Hall of Fame. Mind, art, experience.
Is that you, Mr. Matheny?
Can we get your autograph?
Yeah, of course.
I think it's pretty cool that you love chess so much. We love chess too.
I joined my school's chess program and got to meet a real-life grandmaster.
I got a trophy this big.
One time, I played a police captain after school and checkmated him in 27 moves.
Wow, I should be asking for your autographs. Check out all chess has to offer at stlouischessclub.org.
A question on Twitter from Damas. I should not have pronounced that. That was a bit of a trap, yeah?
For those of you who are new to chess, it might look like ba3 is an illegal move here because white advances pawn 2 squares, not 1. But it's still something we call en passant. And
be surprised. Be intrigued. Be delighted. The World Chess Hall of Fame in St. Louis is nothing you'd expect and everything you love. 3 galleries highlight the history, culture, and creativity behind the game. Explore chess in ways you never imagined. It's a one-of-a-kind cultural institution where rare artifacts and world-class art play together. The World Chess Hall of Fame. Mind, art, experience.
Is that you, Mr. Matheny?
Can we get your autograph?
Yeah, of course.
I think it's pretty cool that you love chess so much. We love chess too.
I joined my school's chess program and got to meet a real-life grandmaster.
I got a trophy this big.
One time, I put a police captain after school and checkmated him in 27 moves.
Wow, I should be asking for your autographs. Check out all chess has to offer at stlouischessclub.org.
Welcome to the chess capital of the United States. The St. Louis Chess Campus in the heart of the vibrant Central West End has established itself as a premier global destination for chess and is comprised of 2 unique nonprofit institutions. The Chess Club and Scholastic Center of St. Louis is recognized as the top chess facility in the world and plays host to all major tournaments, including the U.S. Chess Championships and the Sinkfield Cup, one of the strongest chess tournaments globally. Tournaments are broadcast online to more than 150 countries, led by an expert commentary team of grandmasters. The Chess Club is an educational organization committed to promoting the game of chess, with a specific focus on bringing the benefits of chess to children throughout the St. Louis area. Research shows children who play chess exhibit improved analytical skills and increased confidence. The Chess Club is highly engaged with the local community, bringing scholastic chess programs to more than 100 schools, providing hundreds of classes each week. Directly across the street from the Chess Club is the World Chess Hall of Fame. This one-of-a-kind cultural institution invites visitors to experience chess in imaginative ways and is home to the U.S. and World Chess Halls of Fame. Cutting-edge exhibitions feature rare, historic chess artifacts paired with world-class art. Innovative programming explores the intersection of chess, art, and culture. Visitors can enjoy interactive programs designed around the exhibitions and monthly music in the galleries. The World Chess Hall of Fame is nothing you expect and everything you love. 3 different galleries and a premier gift shop highlight the culture, history, and creativity behind the game. Come visit, play chess, leave enriched. To learn more about the St. Louis Chess Campus, visit stlchesscampus.org.
marbles, winning game after game. The opposition has never been as heated, as fierce in both elite chess tournaments in the world.
Hello and welcome back to our live coverage of Round 1 of the 2020 Pro Chess League. My name is Caleb Denby and I'm joined by the wonderful international master, Dorsa Derakhshani.
Hi everyone.
Yeah, Dorsa, how do you feel about the St. Louis Archbishops this year?
Proud.
Proud, yeah. Of course, you're a member of the team. Yes. Are you looking to get in on some of the action in the later rounds?
Whenever they need me.
Of course. So today, of course, as we saw with Mike Kummer, we are squaring off against the New York Marshals. Of course, yes. They have a very tough team. Who are you looking out for on the Marshals?
It's a tough call. I think I'm not going to say it now, but as soon as the games start, we can start seeing which games we should look more into.
Yeah, of course, you never know which games are going to be interesting. Yeah. Why don't we take a look, actually, at our Round 1 pairings against the Marshals. Of course, Liem is against Board 1 for the New York Marshals, Hikaru Nakamura. And this is actually the only game where the Marshals are favored. So we'll have to keep an eye on this one here, see if Liem can pull up the only possible upset for us. Wesley So is playing Gusainov, Sam Sevian against Leinier Dominguez, and Miranda against Fabi. That's Miranda, of course, Board 4 for the Marshals against Board 1 for Fabi. And then in the coming rounds, everybody will have a chance to play everybody else. It's kind of a round-robin system.
Yeah. Well, just looking at the pairings, I don't know. I don't know how much to be concerned, or even if concerned is the right word, for Hikaru's game, because, well, Hikaru, Blitz, Rapid, he's really he's awesome in those. Yeah,
he is a titan of especially online Blitz and Rapid. Yeah. He's of course always setting these rating records and being the top rated account on chess.com for some time. It'll be one to look out for.
Honestly, right now I'm thinking maybe the Dominguez-Sevian match would be the one that we would be spending the most time on.
Yeah, Sam Sevian, of course, a younger player. I actually haven't seen him compete in too many of these online tournaments. I don't know if you remember any of his games, but...
No, I don't. No, actually, I don't.
Yeah, Sam, a bit of a wild card then. I'm not sure how well he'll compete in this game in 10+2 format. Of course, an even faster time control than last year. Of course, we're just waiting for these games to get underway. If you're in the Twitch chat, be sure to say hello. I do have that pulled up here. If you have any questions for us, we'd be happy to answer. But in the meantime...
I'm kind of wondering, why did they change the time control?
I don't know, just to make it more exciting, I guess. Game in 15, it's too slow in this modern age of chess. We need game in 10. Get these games going. Get into that time pressure even more quickly.
Yeah, before we start, one thing that I read about and it was really interesting for me was, so I'm sure we all know about the thing that happened between Magnus and Firuzja in the World Blitz and Rapid. It was so for those of you, just to do a tiny recap, Firuzja had more pawns and technically it was a winning endgame. Okay. But he ran out of time. Since Magnus didn't have any pawns, theoretically, from what I understood, in online playings, that would be a draw. But in a real chess, technically, there could be a position where Firuzja would help mate himself, something like that.
This is one of those weird rule changes between FIDE and even the USCF does it the other way. In the USCF, you need mating material, which is, I think like a bishop and a knight qualifies, a pawn qualifies because you can make a queen. Whereas in FIDE, if checkmate is legal, if you can legally achieve a checkmate, then it counts as a win for the player who did not flag.
It was, it's something that got me really thinking. Those little rules are really...
Yeah, and it can be very confusing even for some of these top players. Of course, it feels like there's a controversy every year, right?
Yeah, from what I understood, Magnus also thought that the game ended in a draw, and I thought he was fine with it, but then the arbiter had to follow the rules, and, well, FIDE rules.
Yeah, of course, an unfortunate turn of events for Ruja.
Yeah, but it was really interesting.
I'm sure he'll have plenty of more chances to take down Magnus in the coming years, as he's just getting started in his, I'm sure, what's going to be a historic chess career.
It would be very interesting.
Well, we are still waiting for these games to get started here. Let's see. I think Firouzja is actually playing right now against Daniel Naroditsky in the Pro Chess League. Firouzja, of course, on the Montreal or the Canada Chess Bras now, no longer Montreal. So he is actually playing against us in our division. So we'll have to be on the lookout for that Firouzja guy.
Was he playing for last Pro Chess League? I thought it was some French team, I want to say.
Yeah, I don't actually remember last year. I think he was playing for sure, but I'm not
because
sure.
I do remember we were doing one of the commentators that we were doing for the summer series was we were doing it against him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but of course, so Firouzja, a young talent now, is playing in the Pro Chess League for the Canada Chess Bras once again. As they are in our division, we will be facing off against him. Who do you think's a bigger threat to us, Hikaru Nakamura or Firouzja? Of course, Firouzja is another one of those guys who actually grew up playing online, and he's of course setting those rating records as well, getting insane levels of chess.
I'm still gonna go with Hikaru for now. If you ask me that question next year, I might have a different answer.
Understandably, I think those two players actually faced off against each other in one of the Speed Chess Championships. And that one did end up going Hikaru's way.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there were multiple of them.
Yeah, no, I remember some interview that Firouzja game where he himself admitted, Hikaru's still better than me, but check back in a little bit and we'll see.
Yeah.
Of course, it's tough to keep that guy down. There are very few people in the world that I would pick in a speed match against Alireza Firouzja.
Yeah. But right now, Hikaru would be one of them, but...
Yeah. Okay. Well, once again, just waiting on these games to get started. Of course, I don't know. What do you want to talk about? Yeah, here we have the matchups once again. Liem Lee against Hikaru Nakamura, Wesley So against Guseynov, Sam Sevian against Dominguez, and Miranda against Fabiano Caruana.
I remember I was playing a tournament, I think it was like Asian Championships in 2014, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And the Liem Lee was there, and I think that was about the time that he was considering transferring to play for Webster.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting. And if I'm not mistaken, I also played against his wife, but before, I think it was 2013.
Who is that again?
His wife?
Yeah. Oh, nobody knows? Okay.
I know. I mean, it's not a secret, but I remember the game. I don't remember the name.
Of course, the classic chess player dilemma.
I apologize.
So Liem Lee, of course, was considering coming to Webster, and Dominguez is a player who has now transferred federations from Cuba over to the United States.
He lives in St. Louis, doesn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. He does. I think he... these chess players don't really live anywhere. They're always traveling, but I think he has a place here in St. Louis, so I'm not sure where his official residency actually is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like Chess.com is setting up for their intro here, introducing our players, as we've already done. Once again, we have 4 players who are some of the best players in all of chess, especially rapid chess as well. Liem Lee on our board 4, as we were mentioning, is actually a world champion in fast time control chess. So it's tough to believe that he could be our bottom board, but here he is nonetheless.
Well, I think maybe... I thought I wouldn't be worried about this match against Hikaru, but...
You think Hikaru's going to take him down?
I don't want to.
All right, maybe that'll make things somewhat interesting. If the Marshals do manage to score some points. But I'm feeling very, very confident in the St. Louis Archbishop's chances here. And
I think I also... Well, back when I was still in Iran and I was playing the tournaments nearby, I think the Gadir Guseynov played tournaments in Iran, and I think I was considering getting him as a coach. It never went through, but that was interesting.
Guseynov's a name that I've always heard, but I'm not actually super familiar with his results.
I mean, when in Azerbaijan they have Rajabov and Mehmediyarov, it's
right. It's difficult. It's difficult. To follow up those names. So 2020 is looking to be an interesting year for chess. Of course, the candidates are coming up as well, and that's very relevant for at least one of our players on our team, Fabiano Caruana. Of course, the 2018 World Championship challenger, he's automatically in the candidates, and coming up in March, that'll be a very interesting tournament to watch. How do you feel about his chances specifically?
No, he's gonna win it.
He's gonna win it? I'm on board. I'm on board with that. Fabi, you know, of course, solidly the #2 chess player in the world for quite some time now.
The thing is, in chess, you really need a good support group, and he has it.
Yeah, here in St. Louis, I think he's really found a good a group of people to help support him in his chess career, and he'll continue on to bigger and better things. And hopefully by the end of this year, there will be a new world champion.
Yay! I'm all for that.
Yeah, so like we said, there are 7 rounds in the regular season. Today is round 1 against the New York Marshals. And once again, it's not whether or not you win the match, but it's how many points you score. So we're not going to slow down. Once we inevitably do get to 8.5 points out of 16, we'll be going for as many points as possible to really give us that edge in the coming matchups as well.
No. Weird question, but what are they scheduled to start?
So they were supposed to start at 3:15. We are kind of treading water here. And of course, I said first round of the match. It's actually, the whole match is played today. It's the first round, or the first match of the season, rather. There are 7 matches in the season. And today we are doing our entire match against the New York Marshals, which is 16 games long.
Yeah.
And looking at the chess.com stream, it looks like they are just about ready to get going here.
I think so too. Maybe 30 more seconds?
Nobody knows. Anyways, it looks as though Firouzja's game has actually ended against Naroditsky. And I think that concludes the match of the Chess Bras against, let's see what team is this here, the California Unicorns. Interesting team name there.
So the Chess Bras were favored from the start, weren't they?
I think so. I'm not sure actually how that game, how that match ended up, but I think they did well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm not sure what the final score in that match was, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna beat their score against the New York Marshals. I'm quite certain of it. So tell me a little bit about the recruiting process with Mike Kummer being the manager for the Archbishops. What was that like? Did he approach you with the opportunity? Did you approach him?
It was last year. Well, I do remember that I was asking about it.
Right.
And that I was asking how is it, because I wasn't really familiar with the recording process.
Right.
And I wasn't even sure if I would get the chance to play because of the rating gaps.
Yeah, no, it's a crazy season this year.
Yeah, and I remember I was showing some friends of mine the chess club actually 2018. Yeah, 2018 fall. And at that point, in front of my friends, Mike was like, yeah, so you want to be on the team? And like, here's the contract, like, blah, blah, blah. And it was awesome because my friends were like, wow, you get to play chess for like an evening and you have fun, you come here and you get so much money.
Yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah.
Of course, Mike comes off a little bit intense, but he really gets the job done as a manager, recruiting some of the best chess players in the entire world to play for the St. Louis Archbishops. And without further ado, it looks like our first game has started here. Of course, it is Liem against Hikaru Nakamura. So why don't we pull up the board and see what we have.
D4.
Yeah, so Liem going with 1 D4. Hikaru has made his first move in D5, and we have a Queen's Gambit.
Oh, accept it.
So E4 from Liem Lee. This opening a little bit more ambitious than the standard Knight F3, E3 stuff.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I don't play this opening as white, but
game aborted. All right.
Wait, what?
Looks like chess.com's having some difficulties here. I think we're gonna get a little bit of a redo on that one. Maybe. And we'll see a repeat of the opening.
Oh, the time control was incorrect.
Of course. The new time control is game in 10 minutes, not game in 15. And it looks as though we are underway once again. We'll see if they repeat. It looks as though they're planning to, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have achieved that position. and Liem chooses knight f3. And so this is an interesting imbalance in the opening here. Black takes some time to move this knight from d5 to b6, and white develops a pretty big center.
This looks a lot like the opening e4, knight f6, e5, knight d5.
E4, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, and we have bishop f7, and this is a line that I'm not familiar with, but it looks as though black gets this d4 pawn in exchange for the f7 pawn.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with this line as white, but as black, I'm not sure if that would be my choice to play.
Yeah, of course you give up the castling rights, and while you do get to kind of take over the white center, you know, you're kind of lacking targets once that center's gone.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So as white, I would expect just simple development, getting castled, and then maybe the black king will find itself without a safe home.
Yeah, but this is definitely one of the interesting game that we should keep lookout for. But let's take a second. And
all the other games have also gotten underway.
I'm gonna check Fabi's game for a second.
Yeah, it looks like Fabi is playing a very standard setup against 1d4.
Yeah. So when you said standard.
So knight c6 is a little bit strange.
Yeah,
I did not notice that quite at first.
This is really interesting. I mean, I've played the Nimzo-Indian knight c6, but I, usually play bishop b4 and also the knight is on c3. But this is really interesting.
Yeah, so with this knight on c6, correct me if I'm wrong, usually the idea is to go for a little bit of an earlier e5 push. That's the advantage to having this knight.
That's what I thought too, yeah. But if you're trying to push e5, then your bishop is kind of misplaced at b4, I want to say.
Well, the bishop will be moving without further delay now that a3 has been
that is true.
Has been essayed. So maybe we'll see bishop d6 with the idea of e5. Oh, we actually see a trade.
Wow.
I guess another advantage to having this knight on c6 is that you are kind of preventing this knight from f3 moving to e5.
Also, the thing is, like in these situations, black is threatening something with every move, whereas white's not doing that right now. The thing to look at as black is whether or not your b7 bishop is going to actually get out or be blinded.
Yeah, it's a little bit hemmed in, but it does serve a bit of a useful purpose, right? Yeah. It helps control this e4 square, which is very relevant to keeping this knight on such a strong outpost.
Yeah, a4 coming, not letting white play b4. Yes, this was an excellent move. You might even want to try to play a4 yourself and then put your knight to a5 and be the b3 post.
Yeah, bringing this knight into b3 it still keeps the pressure up on d4, and as well as, it controls some key squares in the white camp. Why don't we take a quick look at some of these other games, though? I think Leinier Dominguez is playing a very interesting Sicilian defense, and so we'll see what's going on in this game.
Wow.
Yeah, so this game is definitely one to look out for.
Finally, some e4.
It looks as though we have...
Of course, Najdorf.
Yeah, the Najdorf.
And, of course, the long castle. Theory, I'm not...
Yeah, so there's this h5 move that is sometimes played in these opening lines, right?
I'm not familiar with g3, though.
Yeah, g3 is a little bit strange. I'm not quite sure what the idea is, to be honest with you. But as black, what are you looking to play here? Do you look to castle kingside, or do you want to keep your king in the center?
I think center for now. Because, well, you're not going to do kingside because that gives white a clear path of attack. Well, queenside is also out of the question because you would want your rook to be on c8 or b8, and you want to start pushing b5. Maybe you'll get some nice sacrifices. Rook takes the knight c3. Those are some things to look for. But
so my impression in this position is black's plan is pretty clear, right? You want to expand on the queen side with b5, as you were saying, bring the rooks into the game. But as white, I'm not entirely sure what the plan is.
You should probably start going for f4. Maybe that's why he played g3.
Yeah, g3, of course, defending the f4 square. But what's the idea with f4 even? I'm not quite sure I understand.
Well, I mean, you kind of have to try and open up the center, because if not, white's just sitting duck.
Yeah. Now, though, with the way that white is played, f4 is giving up this key e4 square, and you might see this knight from f6 come into the game, or you might see the pawn from e5 move to e4, keeping the center a bit more closed.
The thing is, the way that the pieces were exchanged. So usually in Najdorf, it's a good idea to try and keep this bishop on e7 trapped, but at the same time, I mean, ideally you would want to exchange off. You would want to have a knight here in the outpost.
Right.
But the knight on a5, I'm not entirely sure what's it doing there.
Yeah,
Maybe he wants to go to c6, but...
You do see some lines, right, where white gets this pawn on d5 rather than a knight, and it's used to kind of cramp the black position, but I think usually that's combined more with some more expansion on the queen side, actually, rather than the castling on the queen side. And it looks to me like d5 is actually just a fairly big weakness. There's rook c5 even threatened here.
Exactly.
And
There's
that would just pick up the pawn, unless white does something.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Leinier's position here, actually.
Me too. I think it's a very safe position, and I think it's very clear path.
Especially, I mean, how do you stop rook c5? The knight just came from b3. And unless you're maybe bishop g2 followed by f4, but it looks kind of artificial to defend the pawn.
Yeah, I don't think that's the right way to go. Maybe rook c5 you can...
I mean, you don't want to push c4.
Yeah.
You might have to, but you don't want to.
Oh, I was thinking maybe something like, maybe knight c6, and then you pick up the bishop on e7, try, but then rook d5.
Well, okay, knight c6, yeah, okay.
Rook d5. And
so do you mean knight c6 here? Or?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because if you play knight c6, there's no rook c5, but then there's knight d5.
Yeah, knight d5 would be
then
a
you
problem.
could think about knight e7, knight takes e7, I want to say queen d6, but...
Yeah, trading off some of the pawns. Interesting. See, maybe knight c6 was the idea, and now he's just deciding whether or not he can actually get away with it.
I think
it feels slightly strange, but maybe it's working out.
The other thing no, I don't think that's gonna work. I was considering if somehow the white bishop was on e4, that would be a nice improvement. Because if the bishop is on e4, you're kind of like blocking everything here.
Yeah, it's difficult to achieve.
And then you could go for knight c6, but yeah, it is difficult.
Why don't, well, it looks like Sam's going to be thinking on this move for a while. Why don't we go back to the Hikaru game? Because it looks as though the point of black's opening, you can
yeah,
feel
let's
free to take
do
over
that
as well.
very quickly, because I just saw the time difference, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this super quickly. Oh, yay, neither forget.
So this is, of course, Wesley So's game against Gusainov, and it looks like a King's Indian defense. Or at least, no. Maratsi Band.
I can never pronounce that. And
Neither can I. Nobody can. Nobody knows how it's actually pronounced.
I like playing it, though. I love this setup. That's white.
Yeah, this is one opening that I've just never been good at from either side.
Why? But you have so much space with white, and your plan is so clear.
Yeah, somehow it just never works out for me. But
it's okay.
Sometimes so we see how white has already connected the rooks, and the black pieces. It's a little unclear what they're doing, right? You want to play for b5, you want to play for d5, but you can't really achieve either. Knight b6 is already a threat. This knight for white might actually come to d5 in the future, and it's a little uncomfortable.
There could be some g5, g4, g4, g5s for white.
Yeah.
Well, or f4, f5s.
And so here we see a change in structure for black.
Yeah,
black
keeping the bishop is interesting.
Yeah, generally in this type of structure, you see the light squared bishop for white being kind of the bad piece, right? It's stuck behind the pawns on e4 and c4. But here I think Wesley thinks, there's an open diagonal for it. If you can get to f3, then it's going to be a very powerful bishop pressuring the queen side.
That is true. And look, here is where black started to think, like spend a minute and some here, another minute and a half here, another minute and a half here. Oh, bishop a7 is such a cool move.
It's a mean move. And now,
it is.
Yeah, okay. So the bishop back to e3.
Again, wow.
Oh, and we have a two-fold repetition. I was going to mention this move, knight b6.
I thought maybe bishop b6, just to block it off. But, well, it makes more sense to keep the bishop, I guess.
Yeah, and what do you play here for black? You have to capture, I guess.
I think so, you do. Because if you don't, your rooks are, well,
forked.
Big trouble.
And of course, if rook a7, there's knight c8,
yes.
Picking up material.
And then knight e7 is coming too.
Yeah. So takes. This bishop gets to the diagonal before the light squared bishop.
Okay, rook g1, rook c6. Well, the thing is, if this pawn on a2 was on a5, I think that would be a big help for white's position.
Yeah, I agree. And I do think another reason Wesley chose to keep this light squared bishop is now b5 is difficult to achieve. It's keeping pressure up on that b5 square. Yes. And if black can't break in the center with b5 somehow, he's going to be a little bit cramped, although somehow the bishops have found some activity for him.
I'm thinking, how would we try to kick off the e4 bishop?
Yeah, I think maybe I was going to mention just king e3.
That's what I thought, but king e3 could there be like d5?
Yeah, maybe.
Then trying to open that up, but then the e7 pawn is way too weak. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I like Wesley's chances here. Although,
also the time as well.
Yeah, the black bishops have found some activity, so there is some reason to be cautious.
Yes.
I did want to mention, though, this Hikaru game, it looks like Hikaru, the point of his opening was he gets to win a pawn. But in exchange for that, his king is weak, and actually his bishop on f8
I think we left it off somewhere. We saw this exchange.
Yeah, we saw this, and then black is picking up the e5 pawn, and this is his reasoning for allowing white to castle and preventing the castling rights for black, as he gets this extra pawn.
Wow. I can see why this would be appealing for black to play, honestly. But here, white spent almost 3 minutes
almost
thinking.
3 minutes, yeah.
Well, so now we know it's definitely not prep. Or they're out of preps already. Wow.
Yeah, bishop f4 is a very nice move. Of course, in openings like this, where you've given up a pawn, you really need to get activity at all costs. So you need to play moves like bishop f4. You need to play moves like, leaving the knight on c5 hanging. Because if you allow black to consolidate and get developed, then you're going to simply be worse.
Yes, exactly. Isn't it interesting? The bishop f4 move, the queen has to go back. Queen e4, I think it's kind of forced, right? Because if not queen e4, then your bishop is kind of hanging, your knight's kind of hanging. Oops.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't want to play bishop e5, trading off the powerful bishop. So queen e4 gets the queens off the board, which is good news for Hikaru. But after some more moves, we see bishop c7, rook c8. This bishop comes back.
They take on b2, knight b5, attacks.
Yeah. Of course, Hikaru needs to maintain this material edge, otherwise he will simply be worse. So taking on b2
this bishop is
pretty forced.
Not seeing the light of day.
Yeah, and a6, trying to keep the pawn. And we do see this check now, king f6.
And a6 is picked up, e5, trying to bring out the bishop.
Yeah, so white has taken the time to regain his pawn now, but in return, the knight on a6 is a little bit out of play. And it's a little unclear, actually, to me, how Liam Lee intends to get this knight into the game.
Well, a3 kind of makes sense, because worst case scenario, you would just want to play knight b4 and exchange it off there.
I think a3 was actually forced, otherwise rook a8 would be kind of trapping the knight.
Yeah.
So a3.
Try to argue with...
And then bishop c5 is not a move I would have expected to see.
Well, I think the point is, if you take it with the a knight, even though you would get rid of this knight, there's like a clear path for this pawn to become, well, a baby queen.
Yeah, maybe white could try to blockade on the c3 square, actually. But
I'm not entirely sure how you would do that, because let's say if knight takes c5.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
You do have a mouse here if you need it. So knight b4 was played instead, we see, but...
Yeah, but here, if you try and take it with this knight, which I can't, if you try to take back with a pawn, and you can't place a rook on c1, and you can't try to block it off that easily. You could probably try and do something like f4, and then maybe bishop e1, but your pieces would be way out of coordination, so
knight b4 instead.
Yeah, king a6, take the knight.
And I like what Liam Lee has done here. He's just playing fairly simply. He's getting his rooks into the game.
His time is kind of worrying for me.
Yeah, only 2 minutes left, but of course he's a very experienced blitz player as well. And I don't think white really has any problems here. You can expect maybe eventually an f3 move, just to simply cement this knight on the e4 square, give the bishop some options to retreat. And I think this one is going to fizzle out into a draw.
I think so too. You just have to be careful not to give too many opportunities.
So knight d2 is kind of an uncomfortable move for white. You don't really want to take on d8 and give up this d file, but it seems there's no other option.
That is true, because if you keep both rooks on the game, then black already has a rook on d8. Maybe you could try to exchange it off and play something like king e2 to keep the pieces blocked out as possible, but...
Yeah, I think I actually like that plan quite a bit. The e2 is a very nice square for the king. The only thing to look out for is if the black knight somehow made its way to the d4 square. But that looks like it's a ways off in the future.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if that's realistic.
Yeah, so I like e2 quite a bit for the king. I think king e2 is a great move. Yeah, I was also considering this plan with a4. Of course, taking on c5 gives black a powerful passed c-pawn, but if white can make use of the a pawn, then it's
I was thinking maybe if a4, rook could come to d4, but then if you're d4, you always have knight c5 take, and then you can start pushing a5.
Yeah, push to a5 as well.
I think this was a good idea.
So we see bishop d4 from Hikaru, taking away this option of capturing on c5.
You gotta move the rook, I think. Or not.
So
maybe knight to f3.
This is a very nice maneuver. So the white knight is actually following this bishop.
The black's king activity is kind of worrying me, honestly.
Yeah, and now you don't really want to take this bishop. Once again, it's going to be a powerful pawn. And I think Hikaru is simply winning a pawn here now. Knight takes a4. Yeah, just it's a clean pawn. This one seems to be going the wrong direction.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's still a good fight left, but...
Yeah, rook b5 just doesn't...
King c4 probably,
feel quite right. It doesn't feel right. King c4,
the
like
king is way too active. Black's king is way too active.
I think this one might go Hikaru's way. Of course, this is the only game in this entire match where the New York Marshals are favored, so it's no big loss to us. But I fully expect Hikaru to convert this now.
Technically, it's not. Yeah, I was gonna say it's not that easy, but.
Yeah, you do have some problems with this e-pawn. You don't really want to play e4 just yet. I think it could get slightly awkward to try to defend that pawn. But this b-pawn is passed, and it is not going to fall off the board anytime soon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, knight c3 is very, very nice.
And you're just gonna,
Yeah, it just simply defends the pawn. Okay, let's get off of this game. It looks like Wesley So has a 4.5 minute advantage. His opponent down to just 17 seconds.
Let's see. How is the position? Pawn up?
Pawn up.
Yeah, this should be easy.
Better rooks, better activity. It looks like Wesley's going after the a5 pawn with this move, actually. And we see a check here. Simply king g4.
Rook c5 probably coming up. Or
an a4. This move isn't quite getting the job done, right?
Why can't you just take it?
Yeah, just take, and then after rook a3, you can even play rook a6.
Yeah.
And you're holding your pawn. Yeah, and then you can even expect to see, so rook a6, rook a7, I think is a very big threat.
Or maybe rook a6, just a5 and rook b6, and you try and pick up the b5, the b4 pawn.
That as well, but yeah, so we see rook d7, because rook a7 I think would have just been crushing.
True. Maybe a5 now, finally?
Maybe even, yeah. I like a5, but I don't, f5's nice. So okay, so I think white's going to defend his d-pawn with his king, and then he's going to simply use the d2 rook to attack the b4 pawn, and that'll be good enough, I think.
Maybe rook a5 right now? Just to
rook
avoid,
a5?
Just to avoid rook d5s.
I like it.
Oh, or maybe, I was thinking maybe rook b6 if rook c5, then rook b5, but there is this e6 check, I think, that works.
Yeah, and so this looks dead lost to me.
Yeah.
there's no other way to put it.
Wesley's got it.
Yeah.
Also, Gadir has only 5 seconds. 3,
2, 1. Oh, the game could end here? No, rook b7, just in time.
Alright,
let's hop over to...
we have a result.
We do have a result. Yeah, Hikaru did end up converting that game, as we expected. Some very nice play from him. You know, changing that slight advantage in king activity into material, and then eventually, of course, just converting.
I've heard the king is supposed to be active in endgame. Well,
yeah, Hikaru's a tough customer. I think though Leinier Dominguez position looks very, very promising.
I need a second to see what's going on.
I think he's
simply winning.
He's obliterated the white king side, and the white king is actually under quite a massive attack, as well as the white bishop is simply hanging.
Queen c2 is coming.
Yeah, there's a threat of checkmate. Actually, you don't have time to play a move like queen f6 with white, because simply queen c2 check, king a1, and then queen c1 is.
And you can't move the bishop because the f1 rook is kind of.
Yeah.
Well.
Also, other checkmate. Queen takes f1, rook c1.
Nice.
Much better checkmate.
So what are you supposed to do? Queen. Well, what can you do?
I think resign is Sam's best option here.
Maybe rook f4. No, it's not realistic.
Rook f4.
I like the
rook f4 is still just checkmate to queen c2.
Yeah.
I think bishop e. This is just dead. This is just dead.
All right.
So we're expecting Wesley and Leinier to win pretty comfortably, and it looks like Fabi has found himself in an exchange down endgame, but with good winning chances, I think. Fabi's planning g5 followed by h4, and then a passed h-pawn is going to be very, very powerful.
Yes. I'm a little worried about the a4 pawn. If it could be picked up, could probably be dangerous.
I don't think there's too much danger of that. This rook really can't leave the third rank, or else rook b3 I think is going to be a powerful option for black. And then rook f3 and rook takes g3, and then the 3 pawns on the king side.
Should be able to get the job done.
Yeah, and the relevant factor in these endgames where one side has pawns on the king side and the other has pawns on the queen side, it's not so much the number of pawns that's important, but it's how far up the board they are. And Fabi has a massive lead in time in that sense. Yeah. So yeah, we do simply see h4, and Fabi makes this passed pawn.
And I mean, white has to block the chance of h2, because, okay, h3 is coming, but how do you block h2?
Yes, of course, rooks belong behind passed pawns, so rook c8, preparing that. But Fabi gets there first, and now I don't see.
Oh, we have 2 other results
what
too.
Miranda is doing. So those 2 games did go the way we expected.
Yep.
Wesley did convert this endgame against Gusainov, and Leinier did manage to defeat Sam Savian in that game as well. So far the score is 2-1 in our favor. Hikaru getting the job done for the marshals, but the other 3 boards seem to be leaning in our direction quite heavily.
Well, honestly, if Fabi draws this too, I think it should be good enough, but I don't know. This simply should be winning.
Rook c6 is a very nasty move.
Right.
The white king wants to blockade the pawn from h2, but there's actually some checkmating ideas. If this rook gets to h1, then it's going to be a big problem.
King f3. Awesome. I was thinking of king g3 first. Wow.
Wow. So is this picking up the pawn, or no?
Rook?
Fabi's simply checkmating.
Picking up the.
Wow.
Picking up
Too
everything.
strong. He sees these tactics to defend these pawns tactically, just immediately.
All right.
Of course, white resigns here because king e1 would be met with rook g1, and it's simply checkmate too.
3-1.
Wow, honestly, those last 3 moves were like incredible.
Yeah.
Fabi just like, yeah, of course you can't take the pawn because there's king e3, bishop d3, rook g1, it's me.
This is really interesting. So one thing that I'm still trying to work on, and I've been telling my students or teammates to do is, for example, I think that the difference between levels, it's not just, I mean, even if you're stronger than your opponent by 100 or 200 points or something, and you go in the game and you just make good moves, but your opponent has only moves, he's gonna find them.
Yeah.
But like in this situation, there was no only moves. Fabi gave the opponent to make mistakes, gave the chance for opponents to, mess it up a little.
Yeah, in this type of position where inevitability is kind of on your side, right? You have this h-pawn. If white does nothing, then the h-pawn is just going to go up the board, right? So you say to white, well, pick your defense. How do you want to try to stop my h-pawn? And then if you choose wrong, you're going to lose the game.
No, but yes, but what I'm trying to say is the moves that Fabi did weren't all forceful.
Yeah, of course.
It was more because, for example, here he had the chance to play, let's say, king g3.
Yeah, and then of course
king f3.
There's the check for white. It comes very naturally, but instead you see
he chose the little bit of the moves that would create opportunities for the opponent to make mistakes.
Right.
So yeah.
King f3, daring white to take this pawn, and then of course there was the well-calculated follow-up.
Yeah, exactly. See, he could simply go to g3, keep the pawn, and well, actually, I don't think he could go to g3 because rook g8.
Once again, if you're just joining us, we'll introduce ourselves once again. My name is Caleb Denby, and this is, of course, the wonderful international master Dorsa Derakhshani, and we are giving you the coverage of the first match in the Pro Chess League here today.
Yeah. No, overall, I'm very glad with the games. It was really nice to see. The opening between the Lee and Hikaru was also interesting.
Yeah. And it actually worked out quite well for Hikaru, of course.
Yeah,
he's very good at navigating these types of positions where, it's a little unclear what the compensation is. You have some vague activity advantage.
Yeah.
And he handles those types of positions quite well.
I was trying to see maybe instead of Hikaru out prepared Lee, maybe that was it. Because around here, it feels like, see, Hikaru's moves are pretty simple. Like, it's pretty much only move that would keep the position going. Like, you're not going to take... You want the knight to take the pawn, but you can't do it right now because of the check and by white queen.
Yeah, knight f6 check, right?
Or, yeah. So, you can't take... you want the knight to be an e5, but you can't make that happen right now. So, what do? You play rook d8.
Yeah, defending the queen.
And put your rook in a good position. Useful position. White has to make castle. Now you take knight e5, attacking the queen, and knight c4 is then the natural move too. Knight c3, queen d3, you're pawn up, you want to exchange off the queens.
Of course.
Everything was so logical going on for black, and queen c2 was interesting move. You're just pushing for more, you want to try and put knight d3, I think.
It was. It's the type of uncomfortable position for both sides, kind of, right? Like white or black can't really develop the king side, but meanwhile white really can't develop the rooks, and the dark square bishop as well is kind of stuck on the back rank. And Hikaru made better use of the pieces that he did have out than Liem did.
Yeah. Yeah, this was
so that was an interesting one, and then I'm very curious to see what went wrong for Sam Sevian in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Because we checked back in and we thought Dominguez had a good position out of the opening. And then next time we looked, Dominguez was just simply crushing. So c4 was in fact his choice, which we were saying this isn't really a move you ever want to play with white here. Correct me if I'm wrong. But.
Well, the thing is, like, if I was playing this with white, I think I would go with knight c6 and I would exchange off and I would go to the end game and try my chances there.
Yeah, and I think you're kind of I think that is what Sam was calculating, right? He spent a ton of time on this move.
Almost 3 minutes.
Like 3 minutes on this move, and so I'm willing to bet he was calculating knight c6, and he found something he didn't like.
I mean, c4 looks more sharp and edgy and chances, but I don't think that's what the position was calling for.
Chances for the wrong side, I think, is the problem. So c4 was played. And of course, black loves to open up more files against the white king. White does get this knight to a very nice c4 square, but let's see how Dominguez made use of these files.
Oh, interesting. Knight goes to e3, you're protecting your pawn and...
Aiming for f5 as well.
Yeah.
g6 is very natural.
To take away f5. You were right, the bishop did come from g2 indeed. See, I was thinking maybe something like bishop c4 could be played. Because if the bishop is on c4, and then you could put the bishop on, let's say, b3, and it's good protecting material, maybe? But
yeah, that's interesting. I would have thought maybe a pawn would like to come to b3 to support c4 a little bit more concretely, so the knight could come back to c4 and kind of have an outpost there.
I don't...
Of course, though, whenever you play b3, you're allowing for a5, a4.
Yeah, also there is the problem with e4. Like, if you play b3, there's always this e4s, and the knight would try to relocate, bishop would go to f6.
That is, quite dangerous.
So let's see how they... Okay. Oh, king f8? Yeah, makes sense. Knight goes to g4, you gotta get that bishop to this diagonal somehow.
Okay, so we do see the trade, and yeah, f5. So this looks a little bit desperate from Sam, actually. I think he got the sense he needed to attack the black king, but he's giving up quite a lot to do it, right? There's only one minor piece left on the board, and he's giving up this f pawn. It doesn't feel quite right.
Yeah, I agree with that conclusion, specifically when you could...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just trying to say, maybe it's about time to try and. Well.
And that's enough of that, I guess. The next round is starting.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention that the remaining bishops really seem to favor black. The bishop was going to come to f6 and then attack the b2 pawn. And
it's a clear path.
Yeah. Either the better king safety, more pawns, better pieces. It was everything that Dominguez needed.
Oh, we got Hikaru versus Wesley.
Yeah, so every game of Hikaru's is going to be very, very important for the marshals. Hikaru really needs to run up a big score for the marshals to have a chance here. And so we see an e4, e5, and I think we actually have all of the games underway.
Yeah, they all started.
Yeah, so knight c3 is this tricky business, right?
I remember I had a WGM norm game. It was the game I needed to win, and I was playing it low rated opponents. Yeah. And she was from China, and for the first time in my life, in a classic chess, I saw the e4, e5, knight c3, knight f6, g6, g3, and I was like, for the life of me, what are you trying to do? And it was, that game didn't go my way.
Well, yeah, I'm not totally familiar with this opening, but I do think I've seen it once or twice talking to a couple friends of mine, and it looks as though the point is for white. You get this nice bishop on g2. The diagonal used to be closed. Now that d5 has been played and these pawns have been exchanged, the bishop's open, and there's some uncomfortable pressure on the queen side, right? Yeah. This bishop hits the knight on c6, which isn't really where it wants to be, and the pawn on b7 as well.
Exactly.
But, of course, that's not to say Wesley has a bad position.
No. I think this is a comfortable position. I'm just, my memories and this line keeps popping up. I did play against Rauf Mamedov. He was 650, and it was the first round of, I think, Al Ain Open, something like that, 2014. Okay. And I was just a WIM back then, and I was paired against him black first round, and I was like, damn, he's gonna play that again.
Yeah. This is a very, very deceptively tricky line from white.
Yeah, I came up with this weird ideas of playing h5 and the game ended in a draw. So it's there. Go check it out.
Interesting.
It was very interesting.
Once again, I want to say a quick hello to Greg Shahade, commissioner of the Pro Chess League. He's joining us in the chat for just a moment here.
Hi.
Of course, we're keeping an eye on this Hikaru Nakamura game. Because this is really, I think, the pivotal ones for the New York Marshals. If they want to challenge the St. Louis Archbishops, they need Hikaru to perform quite well.
Let's take a look at, I want to say Fabi's game.
Yeah, well, everybody wants to see Fabi's game all the time.
I mean, he's local. He's
the best.
he's my vote for winning candidate and championship.
Yeah.
So
and this is another very interesting position that it looks like arose out of an e4, e5 opening.
Oh, I love e4. Good old Lopez.
Yeah, we see Fabi taking a classical Roy approach.
Yeah, I feel like the chess maturity and understanding, especially in a opening like Lopez, really matters, and it's not just about moves or like ideas.
Right.
So I think he's got it.
Yeah, my feeling of openings like the Roy Lopez is, even from a player of like my level or your level, watching 2800s play it can be very, very mysterious, right? They're making very important decisions, when I should play this piece here, and the order of moves becomes very important, the efficiency becomes very important, and if you're not careful playing one of these guys, you get destroyed and you don't know how.
Yep.
And so I think it's a very good opening choice for Fabi. It allows him to show the younger Sam Sevian what he knows about the oldest opening in chess, and really prove an advantage.
Yeah, I feel like this is such a logical position, and like it's not that much that you have to calculate, more as you have to know and you have to have the instincts and things like that. I'm gonna give it a little bit more time before I make a
by all means. I think Sam's position is totally fine here so far. One thing to look out for, though, is there's a very natural plan of bringing a knight into f5. This is always going to be a big threat to look out for if you're playing with the black pieces. For the moment, it seems to be under control, but given a few more moves, things might go wrong.
I was thinking about this. I don't play this opening as white all the time. I've given it some few tries, and I still do it from now and then.
Right.
But I always remember that I saw games that you would do this weird like king moves and knight h2 and knight h1 and or stuff like that, and you would try an open for f4, and I can only hope the game's gonna go that way.
Yeah, so we actually see d takes c3. It's a very interesting decision from Sam here. He opens up the d file, letting him look at this d3 pawn, but it does give white some more control over the center, right?
I agree.
And perhaps actually, I think an interesting move here might be b4. Maybe it's this Sam's idea.
That's what I was thinking about, because if you do b4, you're trying to expose a little bit more the d4 square. But
I'm curious though, can you respond to b4 maybe with d4?
Ooh.
Okay, and we actually, I think we see bishop takes b3 for that purpose, because d4 would be threatening d5,
yes,
with some ideas of, maybe a fork.
But now the f5 square is kind of...
yeah, like I mentioned, yeah, we do see now knight f5.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a pretty big problem, I think, for Sam.
I think so too. I like white.
Yeah, I do like white. There is a very natural plan for black, though. b4 is, I think, the key move.
Yes.
You want to shake loose white's control of the d4 square, and then plant your knight on that square, and find activity in that way.
What if...
Yeah, so we do see b4. And now, how do you want to respond to this as white? It's a little unclear to me. I'm kind of in love with this idea of playing d4 in response, but I don't think it's very good.
I don't think too. I was thinking about it, but d4 you can just simply take back.
Yeah, so there's a common idea when you have a pawn center like this, where d4 would be a very great outpost for a piece.
Yep.
So sometimes you want to play d4, forcing a pawn to capture, and then that square is no longer available to the pieces.
Oh, wow.
In this case, though, if you play d4, black can capture and then push the pawn to d3, and so that the idea
also
kind of doesn't work.
the threat of queen f5 was there because of the pin, the e4 pawn.
Yes, that as well. So simply not going to work out.
97.
And now I think Fabi is actually happy to trade these knights.
Whoa.
Wow, c5. Not a move I saw coming, but...
Is it weird that I was kind of aching for g4?
g4, I think is very actually natural as well.
The problem is maybe g4 would give chances of knight g6 and then knight coming to f4. Maybe that would be a little bit...
Yeah. So maybe you could see a knight... After the trade of the knights, maybe then g4 becomes a lot more realistic.
Now, Fabi is questioning where you want to put your bishop. Because the bishop can't stay on where it is.
Yeah, I think you have to play bishop d6, right? Otherwise, rook takes e5.
Maybe bishop d4 works too.
Bishop d4, I think knight 5 might capture, and then the rook can kind of swing to the king's side, and the pawn on d4 is going to be very, very bad.
Maybe knight f5 now.
Yeah, knight f5, rook c5. It looks...
Queen d6? But then rook c1 and the c7 pawn is kind of...
Well, I'm sorry, I'm a big... so knight d6, you said.
I was thinking if knight f5, rook c5, you would do something like queen d6 and attack the rook.
There's just rook d5 though, right? And then the rook is hanging, or the knight's hanging.
Maybe queen b6 to keep attacking the rook, but then there's the rook c1s or
there's also rook e5 there, maybe.
Some knight d4s.
I think there's many things kind of under attack. So you see queen b6.
Queen b6.
I think this is a good try from Sam.
He still wants to take on a5. The rook on a5 is kind of...
Yeah, it might be time for Fabi to actually play knight takes e7 now,
I think so too, because if not, the knight f5 is coming and the pawn structure would be kind of ugly.
Maybe he has other things in mind, though. You never know.
You can only hope.
It's simply rook a2. So this is interesting. So he's allowing black to capture on f5 in the hopes that I guess maybe this knight can come to e4.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And then there's a very, very nasty f6 threat.
But if queen d6, then how are you going to...
You maybe just take the time, play rook d1 or rook d2.
But then you wouldn't be able to put the knight on e4.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I think maybe rook c2 comes to mind as well.
Oh.
Defending tactically.
Nice. Maybe let's take a look at another game.
Yeah, I know. This game's very, very interesting. But of course, there are 3 other games going on.
Let's take a look at Hikaru's game. Oh, wow. It developed really fast.
Yes. So it looks as
What's
though
happening now?
white is a pawn to the good, but the structure is quite fractured. I think, honestly, I quite like Wesley's position here. Not to play for a win, but perhaps for a half point, which is enough.
Okay. My prediction, this game will end a draw.
In fact, I think if anybody's better, I actually do think it's Wesley here. So the bishop on c7 is attacked, but that's not actually the real threat here. I think the threat is bishop takes c2.
Yep.
And so almost no matter what white does, I think you can still play bishop c2. If you try to defend with rook e2, you can still actually capture, because if rook takes bishop, you have rook takes bishop with black.
Yes.
And if you play bishop d6, black can play rook e6, still keeping the threat on the bishop. And yeah, bishop c2 is simply coming.
Yeah, I agree. Let's take a look at Dominguez game. I don't think we looked at this so far.
Yeah, I think that's a new one. So Dominguez now playing board 4 for the New York Marshals. So this will be an interesting one to look out for. And okay, we're taking a look at the opening, but the current position, there's a move just like screaming to be played, but I don't know.
I'll get there really fast. Okay, okay, so far I like White's structure. White's pawn structures are screaming for attack on the king side.
Of course.
There we go.
Yeah, f4 is coming, and now we see the h-pawn getting involved as well.
Oh my god, this is so nice.
Yeah.
Wow, bishop c1.
And so bishop c1.
Is this the move you had in mind you were talking about?
No, after the next move, rook c8. I mean, everybody wants to play rook takes d5, but I don't think it works. There's simply d4. This was the move that I was talking about, but it doesn't work at all.
I mean, what if there's g4 now?
Yeah, g4. g4 is very nice.
d4?
There must be some way to try to worm your way into the dark squares on this king side.
Yeah, Dominguez is thinking so much.
Yeah, I think this is a very important position. White does seem to have an edge in time on the king's side, right? The pawns have already been pushed, weaknesses have been made. But now you get to this point, and it's a little unclear how you actually kind of rip it open.
Yeah.
You'd love to play a move like f5 eventually, but the current problem is you leave the e5 pawn behind. So if you want to play, g4 and f5, you somehow have to defend the e5 pawn, and d4 for black is coming very naturally. And after c4 and d3.
Okay, so you exchange off the bishops. Well, the thing is, if now d4, there's always queen c4?
Yeah, queen c4 would be very nice to kind of blockade. There is, of course, knight b6 though, coming eventually to force that queen from its outpost.
I'm thinking, where you want to have the c1 bishop? Are you going to try and play b3, bishop b2?
I think it's fine on c1. It is serving a purpose, defending the king, and while it may not be the greatest attacker, I don't know if it's totally necessary. The pawns are kind of serving the role of a dark squared bishop for white.
I think this. Okay, I would honestly rather to be white in this position. So just because I can't find the exact moves.
Yeah, you get the feeling white should have something, but there's still a matter of finding it. And why don't we take a quick look at the last game, Liem against Gusainov. What's going on here? It looks as though some type of, Benoni, well, not Benoni style. I just see a weak d6 pawn, and I always think Benoni. But we do have this imbalance where black has a weak d6 pawn, but white actually has I would call d5 a weakness as well. And it's going to be a question of which weakness can be kind of attacked more effectively. And now we see rook c4. I think I'm a fan of black's position here.
Yeah, I think
the rooks are going to be more active.
I think so too. Let's take a quick look at how the opening. Oh my god, everybody played e4. Thank you. Of course, good old Berlin. Alright, the opening prep c5.
Yeah, c5 is interesting.
And then that's how we ended up with the Benoni pawn structure.
Of course. Well, not quite, because the pawn is still on g7, which is why I kind of backtracked. But
knight h4, nice. But why not knight d4?
Yeah, knight d4 would have been interesting, but maybe
feels kind of trapped.
Yeah, and maybe you don't actually want to block off your dark squared bishop. Maybe these threats on c3 are going to be important, and so this knight can come back to g6 and actually have an e5 square.
All right, yeah, I like that idea.
See a trade of queens. And now, yeah, f4 from white was played. Well, you went through it very quickly, but I think that's kind of an important decision.
Here?
Yeah, so the queen trade, and then f4 for white. I actually don't really like that move.
f4?
Yeah.
What?
Well,
What would you do?
It makes weaknesses for white, right? I would have preferred some simpler way to just develop the pieces. Maybe bishop e3.
Here, b2 pawn.
Yeah, there's rook b1 and b7 might be under some pressure.
All right.
Maybe tactically it's not quite working, but f4 seems very, very committal. But okay, so f4
I agree.
was
Yeah,
good.
maybe f4 was to avoid the knight g6, knight e5 ideas.
Ah, yeah. But now I think black is pretty comfortable. f4 is the secondary weakness that really kind of tips it over the edge.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so the bishops are exchanged off.
Yeah, very
Knight
simple,
goes to
going for the
f5,
endgame
yeah.
now. And f4 is really not what you want in this endgame. White would much prefer to have the pawn on f2, so the second rank is a lot more defended, and you don't have to worry quite so much about the rooks invading.
I feel like this is a good endgame to play as black.
Yeah, I very much like black's chances here. I think maybe you can expand on the queen side even a little bit further with black, although you don't want to be too hasty with it. And then, yeah, it's, d5 is weak. Maybe you can argue, there's going to be some weaknesses on b2 as well. For sure, black for choice, but, maybe white can hold.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's take a look at Bobby.
Ah, yes, some very big developments
Whoa.
have been made. So we were talking earlier about a knight maneuvering to e4 and then the pawn coming to f6, and it looks like Fabi has achieved just that.
But isn't there a less pawn? Yeah. I think
so
we were somewhere here when we left off.
Yeah, so right after c4 and then c5.
Yeah.
We did see this trade, and
queen
so
e4.
Fabi just gives up this pawn in order to
Interesting.
achieve this knight on the e4 square.
And eventually you have to give in.
Mm-hmm. So Fabi playing very slowly, just advancing on the king's side.
Yeah.
And, wow, h5. Okay.
This is really interesting. Wow.
Yeah. And we do see f6 now in king h7.
And then f3 to just get the knight more protected.
Yeah, and we do see a trade of rooks.
And
another trade of rooks being offered, and Fabi's going for an endgame. And of course, if you count the pawns, Fabi is down a pawn. But more important than the pawns in the endgame is almost always the activity.
Yeah.
Specifically the king activity.
there's no clear way for black to activate his king or even to try and get his pieces in a better place.
Yeah.
So
we go for the pure endgame now, and after some exchanges.
Ouch.
Of course, as black, you want to play king g8 to f8 to e8 to d7, and then you're in the game, right? But it's unfortunately not so easy to achieve because you're leaving behind, for example, a weak h6 pawn. And if the h pawn ever falls, then I think white is going to just.
The problem is right now black would want to play something like bishop d8, and if bishop d8, knight e4, c4.
Yeah, that is a good point. Let's see. Maybe you play knight c4 here
Bishop
with
d8?
white. Bishop d8. I just want to take your e pawn.
Take on f6.
Yeah, and then I don't know if I actually have time to play knight takes f7.
I don't think so. c4.
Yeah, it looks quite dangerous. Let's see how Fabi wants to deal with this. This looks a little problematic.
Huh.
Simply king g3. Okay.
Bishop d8.
Yeah, maybe knight e4, and you just take c4. Ooh, okay. So once again, Fabi, I said earlier, king activity is important. He's giving up the f6 pawn and just running the king.
King g7, I think.
Yeah, maybe then knight e4. And
c4?
can you play c4? Maybe you can. Wow, that looked very dangerous.
I can't breathe.
Interesting.
Maybe f6 now?
Well, f6, king e6, and I think things might be going the right direction for Fabi.
Okay, king f6.
Yeah, king f6, and then maybe even king e7.
I'm trying to promote the king.
Yeah, scoring a touchdown.
I don't think you can go that deep because there's always the f5 and e4s.
Right, there is some danger. So, okay, I'll ask the question. Let's say king f6, king g8, and then I start passing. I think, knight b2, knight c4, knight b2, knight c4. What is black's plan to win the game?
I don't think black has a clear winning plan.
So that's the good news for Fabi. It is 2 pawns to the good, but the pawns are situated in such a way that if Fabi can maintain this light square blockade on the queen side and have this king sitting very nicely on the f-file, I think there's no real danger for him.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I could always be wrong on that, but...
No, I think you're right in this situation. I think this game is a draw.
Okay.
Let's take a look at Hikaru.
Yes. And, wow, I think this has gone very, very well for Wesley. We were talking about how there was some bishop c2 threats the last time we left off, and it looks like that didn't actually come to fruition.
I think we were somewhere, maybe here?
Yeah, not quite so far back. Yeah, I think we saw bishop c7. Yeah, we were right here. And so bishop d6 or q6, bishop back to c7, and now Wesley brings the king forward, and we actually see a trade of the bishop for the knight. A very interesting decision.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't explain bishop takes g2, but maybe Wesley knows something I don't. In fact, maybe he knows many, many things that I don't.
No, I think this is good.
Yeah, I mean, the position seemed to work out for him, but it was interesting that decision
take on
to trade.
a4, then start pushing those baby queens.
So yeah, Wesley up a pawn, getting the majority rolling. And now this is our current position, and Hikaru down to 30 seconds, Wesley at 1:15. And yeah, so Hikaru is going to have to hope that this G pawn will be worth both of the pawns on the queen side.
I mean, it's not like he has much other choice.
Yeah, no, this is what he has to play for. And now, of course, the bishop on b2, making use of the long-range powers of the bishop, right? And that's why in these endgames, bishops are generally more favorable than knights, because they can blockade on one side of the board and support the advance of the pawns on the other. However, in this case, well, first of all, knight takes f5 looks like a pawn. Like, what am I missing? You can play rook c2 first if you even want, just knight f5.
Right.
Yeah, simply knight f5. And
maybe there is a...
No, this is just over. This is dead.
Yeah, maybe, I was thinking maybe there's a... I was thinking about rook f3, but that feels like mate.
Yeah, knight c4. The bishop's under threat. King a4. There's no more checks. Where do you put this bishop?
Right.
You can't go to. It's just.
Oh, we
checkmate.
have a
It's
result.
over.
And
yeah, so Liam Lee did manage to draw his position against Guseynov. We kind of liked his position a bit more, but a draw is a perfectly fine result for our board 4.
Yeah, this game was a. Oh, we have a result too.
Hikaru just simply resigned here. Of course, you have to stop rook e1 checkmate. The only way to do that is to play bishop c3. But
c2.
if you play bishop c3, there's rook c2, picking up the bishop.
Yeah. No, I like this position. It's very interesting. So now we're also winning, I think, this game?
Yeah, checking out. Whoa. So this is Fabi's game. This is the one that's looking kind of dangerous. In fact, the black king made it a lot further than I ever thought it would, and now I'm beginning to think that this one's going to just be a loss.
Unfortunately, I have to agree with you.
Yeah, simply king d3. And,
how did they get here? Because we were looking at this position, king came.
So yeah, I thought king f6 would have been an important move, but it looks like with the bishop on d4, there's going to be this e4 check if you ever do bring this king to f6.
Well, that's the thing. In this situation, we thought after knight c4, bishop f4, this is when we wanted to play king f4.
Yeah, maybe it would have been a little bit of a better try, actually, but...
But I think eventually it would run out of moves, because king f6, king g8.
Yeah, I do want to mention, though, Leinier Dominguez was up a clear exchange in his game, and he did actually just convert that to a winning king and pawn in game. So
awesome.
that's another win for us.
All right, so we won the match.
And so we won. Well, we won the
match.
round. We won the round with a full 2.5 points to our name already. It doesn't matter the result of this last game. Well, it does matter, of course, but
Not for
we
the
are
team.
still scoring positive.
I don't know. Yeah.
And it looks as though Fabi did actually just resign this position.
Well, I have to give it to Sam 7.
Yeah,
He played very well.
Very, very well done. Fabi giving up some pawns and then going into this end game. It just didn't really materialize into anything.
I'm not entirely sure what to think of the game. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think there was any point that there was a clear path for White what to do.
So it was this decision, I think, to allow knight takes f5 that looked a little bit strange to us, right?
Yes.
Allowing knight f5 when White could have just played knight e7.
Sure.
So yeah, these in-between moves were pretty interesting, but especially here. Simply knight takes e7 is totally playable, I think.
Well, the problem is if you just do knight e7, let's say rook e7, you gotta move the rook, and then the rooks will double to d5, d-file, and try and...
I'm not sure it's so simple, right? I wanted to play knight e7, rook e7, and then rook fa1. And then I wanted to find some counterplay.
But there's your pawn is hanging.
Is it?
Looks like it.
Maybe it is. That's so sad.
Yeah.
I think we actually do have a scoreboard with the results on it, so why don't we take a quick look at how we're doing here. So, of course, in this second round, we had Hikaru Nakamura losing to Wesley So, a huge victory for Wesley. Liem Lee drew Gadir Gusainov. Fabi goes down to Sam Sevian in a massive upset, and Leinier Dominguez does win against the Marshall's board for Miranda. This brings the total match score to 5.5 to 2.5.
Well, could be better, but
could be better, but +3 after 2
Yes.
rounds. I mean, even if it's not even if we're not winning all of our favorable matchups, it's more than enough for 2 rounds. Of course, 8.5 is the magic number. 8.5 out of 16 means you win the match and get 10 extra points to your name. But really, we're going for more. We're going for
it shouldn't be a
points.
hard job to just get 3 more points, to be honest. But I agree. The more you get, the better.
Yeah, and in fact, it's almost unimaginable that this team couldn't score 3 points in 2 rounds.
That is true.
Of course, every point counts towards your standings in the regular season, so there's no reason to let off the gas, even if we do get to 8.5. But the Marshalls kind of fighting for their life here already. While there was this big upset with Fabi, I think even the Hikaru upset was a bigger deal.
I
right?
agree, yeah.
They needed Hikaru to be scoring 3.5, 4 points in this game to have any chance of doing some damage to this Archbishop's team. So which of these games didn't we... Yeah, why don't we see how Dominguez managed to convert that game? Because we liked his position, but we weren't sure how he was going to break through. It looked...
Where did we leave it off?
So long ago, apparently. Yeah, we left off somewhere
After this exchange,
after the bishop trade and g4 was played. So yeah, black plays rook b6.
Rook e1.
Yeah, so rook e1, of course, defending the e-pawn, preparing this f5 push.
You have to play the d4. Queen a3.
a3 is an
I thought
interesting
queen would
square.
go the other way.
Yeah, maybe queen g3 was natural to defend e5, and also queen c4 doesn't make so much sense, because rook b4 is possible. Yeah, but okay,
queen c6.
Queen a3, queen c6.
f5, alright. Queen d5.
Yeah, and you take g6. Now there's an open
queen
f5.
goes back to g3. Rook f8, rook f1.
Yeah,
wow.
Rook f8 and rook b8 is something you'd love to see as white here. Black's kind of abandoning his attack in defense of his own king.
Exactly. Rook f1 was really interesting. Maybe because I thought maybe there could be something with queen e5, but there shouldn't be. Let's say queen e5, you can just play rook f8, king f8, rook f1. King has to go back to g8.
Right.
And queen f3 probably.
Yeah, queen f3 just looks dominating on the f file.
Should be,
no way to stop queen f7.
Yep.
So rook f1. We're back to b8, and this queen is trying to invade. And knight e5 looks quite dangerous, though.
Okay, queen e7, knight f7.
Yeah, knight f7's forced.
Isn't there a...
So there's queen f6, but I guess knight takes
h6?
h6?
Yeah. I mean, rook e1 should be good enough, too.
Yeah,
just
simple chess.
e5, queen why not g5 here?
Interesting. Well, what's the point of g5, I guess? Are you making a threat?
No.
I don't know. I would have expected more something along the lines of maybe like rook f6, trying to get the second rook into the game. Queen h4 does seem a little bit odd. But, you know, it worked out for Dominguez.
Yeah, let's see how though.
Yeah, I don't see it here. It seems like black made quite a bit of progress already. And well, so he's...
Still don't get it, man.
This is... Maybe this one was quite fortunate for us. Well, now there's rook h1.
I mean, yeah, there is an attack, but... I mean, black's pawn looks so strong.
Yeah, all of a sudden, though, there's
okay, yeah, this I can see.
And bishop takes b8 is simply winning the exchange. And then he did a very nice job to convert this endgame, it looks like.
Yeah, this shouldn't be hard to... I mean, you still need to...
Yeah, I mean, there's always e2 to look out for. But if you keep that under control, then the game should
you're
be
just going to try and pick up the pawns and just pick up the other pawns.
So, Leinier managing to convert this endgame. Why don't we take a quick look at the round 3 pairings and see what the matchups look like for us going forward. Leinier Dominguez has his turn against the New York Marshals Board 1 Karu Nakamura. Fabi is playing Gusenov on, well, I guess Board 1 or Board 2, it all gets a little confused. Sam Sevian is against Liem, and Miranda is against Wesley So. So, of course, the matchups to look out for. Karu, once again, needs to start scoring more points for the Marshals to have any chance in this match. And Leinier, with the white pieces, will be looking to shut him down once again. Fabi will be looking to get back on form against Gusenov after that tough loss to Sam Sevian. And once again, we need 3 more points to clinch the match. With 2 rounds to do it, it shouldn't be too hard.
Starting.
And it looks like we're just about underway here. We have Leinier's game up against Karu Nakamura, first off, with 1 e4.
Who do you think will get this game?
That's a good question. Once again, Hikaru is a very, very strong, legendary online player, and so you can never really discount his chances. It's tough to say that anybody's the favorite against him, besides maybe players like Fabi. But Leinier Dominguez, you know, a very strong Rapid and Blitz player. He's been playing especially these world-class St. Louis Rapid and Blitz events for some time now, and I expect him to do pretty well with the white pieces.
All right. I'm a big fan of Italian, but this a5, it is out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, so a6 is more normal,
Right?
but then I think in recent years, especially in the World Championship match between Fabi and Magnus, you saw White playing moves
there
like...
was a lot of a4s, not a5s. That's...
Yeah, a4s, and especially b4 from White, was a way that White was gaining space. So perhaps a5 is aimed a little bit at shutting down that plan, of gaining so much space on the queen's side, getting that uncomfortable pressure.
I think a5 is interesting, but I think the problem is that when you play a5, actually, the thing is might become a little dangerous if they can get the chance to play knight c4s.
Right, knight c4 is a very natural outpost, and then you're adding another target along with the bishop. The pawn will also be slightly weak. Although still a very normal position here for both players. You know, there's always these ideas of playing d4 or playing d5. Of course, the knight from d2 can transfer itself to g3, looking at that f5 square, like we saw in Fabi's game.
However, I do like the way that black's position is right now.
Well, I think this is a pretty normal Italian position,
Yeah.
right? I'm not sure if there's too much going on here that's out of the ordinary just yet.
I agree. I mean, it depends. What is black trying to do? Maybe the knight e7, knight g6 idea, or trying to push d5?
You know, with Rook e8, I think he's telegraphing that this d5 idea
yeah.
is a little bit more normal. And Hikaru does essay that quite quickly. And I think you have to recapture with the queen or the bishop here to make sure that pawn stays defended. And after queen takes, do you run into some trouble? Queen takes, there's... I'm tempted to play moves like bishop b3, but I'm not sure it's really amounting to anything.
Maybe knight e3?
Yeah, knight e3, knight g3 actually. Yeah, knight e3 is a tempting tempo gainer, but really e4 is the square this knight wants to be on. So g3 is routing it towards that home.
Great. All right, let's take another look at, who do you want to see? Fabi?
Yeah, we can take a look at Fabi's game.
All right. Well, that was fast.
Wow. Yeah, they have launched themselves into this middle game position. So e4 c5, and we see another rendition of this opening.
Yep. Queen. Everything is pretty typical. You get the queens up.
Yeah, we see knight a4, knight b6, all the maneuvers we saw in the previous game. And yeah, f5 once again gets played, but in this case,
G4,
white has committed to g4, which is very interesting. So what was Fabi's point with g4? Actually, his point was to play g5.
And to probably start pushing the h-pawn?
Yes.
Or the f-pawn? Well, I think, I mean, if you get f4 and you get your h-pawn to h6, that bishop is kind of looks like a pancake.
Yeah. I think g5 is actually a very, very interesting move.
I like it, yeah.
A lot of the times you'll see white do these pawn storms with the queens on the board trying to checkmate black, but in this case it can actually be a very, very valuable asset in the endgame. If you get this pawn to g5 and h5, there's always a threat of making a passed h-pawn very, very quickly, and that's going to maybe, prevent some of the black pieces from coming to the center. We'll have to keep an eye on this king side for Fabi. And now that d5 has been played, Fabi has to make a decision whether or not to open the center with pawn takes.
I would kind of vote no, but...
You would vote no? So how do you keep things closed, though?
That's a good question.
I'm not totally sure.
I just feel like it's not ready to... The center is not ready to be opened yet. It's for white.
Yeah, there's this knight on a4 that isn't actually making the greatest impression. Maybe we'll see another knight b6, getting these knights off the board, and kind of getting this bishop to b6, allowing for the e3 square, maybe for the king, and allowing the rooks to come to the d file, things to be a little bit more comfortable for the white pieces.
Yeah, I agree. This game has gotten a little bit more interesting than I thought it would.
Yeah, I'm not actually totally sure what to think about Fabi's position here. So yeah, simply rook hd1, bringing your rook to the center is never a bad plan.
Well, I mean, your pawn structure could be affected because right now you can take it. I think, yeah, you can take it. So.
Well, yeah, yes, I agree.
I don't know.
I don't think that structure is so bad, though, for white. If pawn takes, I think pawn takes immediately.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And now if this pawn gets to c5, as it should eventually, it could also be creating some threats. And while you might think c4 is a big weakness, b7 is now also a weakness to look out for, as the rook could come to the open b or the half-open b file to put some pressure.
Yeah. All right. Let's give this game a little bit of time, and let's look at Dominguez Hikaru.
Okay, and so...
We left off somewhere around, I want to say, here.
Yeah, d5 was just played,
yeah.
And knight g3. Like we said, now that the e4 pawn is gone, e4 becomes a very nice outpost for the pieces.
Yeah, Dominguez just spent about 2.5 minutes thinking about knight d2.
Interesting. Simply rook d8, and now queen f3. If I'm Dominguez here, I really want to put a knight onto the e4 square. I don't know what the delay really is.
Well, there could be f5s.
Yeah, so some f5. So perhaps like knight takes knight, and then if you play knight takes knight, there's f5 to consider. Really though, I'm not totally sure about that plan for black. It does seem like the right idea to gain some space in this manner, but you do have to be slightly worried about the kingside structure falling apart.
I agree. I think they both have good fighting chances. I can't pick a favorite in the position just yet, because I see chances for both sides, and
yeah, there's an interesting idea maybe to play knight h5 rather than knight e4. This might be a more favorable way to trade off these knights. Not yet committing the knight to the e4 square, so f5 wouldn't be coming with tempo. But
interesting.
Yeah, and then maybe something like queen g3 could follow, and then after knight e4, you're making a lot of threats of knight f6, bishop takes h6.
Yeah, I actually do like that move.
But yeah, so Leinier does have some decisions to make in this game.
All right, let's take a look.
I like Liem Lee's position, actually. It looks like it was in English, and Liem is hoping to make some threats on the light squares.
Let's take a quick look at the opening.
So we had asymmetrical English.
Okay, so for symmetrical. ish. Bishop coming out to be placed to develop connected rooks. Try to exchange off the bishops. Alright. Rook c8. So far so good. I feel like all of the moves are logical.
Yeah, it's fairly standard. White, of course, in the symmetrical English, he has the slight advantage in time, so he gets to play this b4 idea a bit more quickly. So Liem Lee adopted a more defensive stance on the queen's side.
This bishop g4 is so nice.
Yes. So rather than try and meet white on the queen's side with a6, b5, Liem plays b6 and tries to find play on the king's side. And that's exactly what he's doing with bishop g4.
Oh my.
And the light squares are really under fire now for Sam Sevian.
This pawn can't just live like this.
In fact,
I refuse to believe that this pawn...
Yeah, rook fd8 was played, and how do you defend?
Knight d5. Why can't it just play, let's say, e6?
Yeah, e6 looks totally normal. Maybe even removing this knight from f6 first could be an option. Playing something like knight e8 just to be very, very mean, and then after e6 you...
Maybe.
Bishop e6, maybe e4.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, if you play e6, I was thinking if knight f6, bishop f6, and f3, you just try and attack this guy.
Well, the bishop has h3, but the move I really want is a move like knight e8, which is simply saying I'm going to play e6 next turn, and then you're going to have some serious problems defending d3. So knight h7, very similar idea. I think this move's better than my move, because now you're aiming for more light squares on the king's side with knight g5. But yeah, e6 is coming, d3 is falling. I don't see what Sam Sevian plans to do about it. Maybe we'll expect some d4 push, trying to break open things, but I guess there's bishop f5 problems. You're actually activating the bishop on g7. The point is, you get the rook into e7 perhaps, activating along the open e file, but you're giving up quite a lot if you play d4.
I feel like I like the idea of moving the knight and then thinking about e6. I don't have anything against it.
And I mean...
A knight on h7
This seems like the perfect way to do it.
Yeah, I think Black's got this.
Yeah, very, very good position for
Let's
Liem
take a look at Wesley So. I don't think we did look at him before.
Yeah, this game is new. Wait a second. Okay.
Hold on, I'm not there yet. Alright, good old weird Grozer. You want to try to play this with Black?
Yeah, what's with these professional players putting their knights on c6 so
I just
early?
never felt like it's... Like, I learned it for so long, and I gave it a few tries, and it was just not me.
Okay. So we see h6 and e5. So once again, the point of putting the knight on c6 is you have this extra control of the e5 square. So if you can break through with e5, it's usually worth it.
Take. And... Oh, some bishop h3 is awesome.
Some dangerous ideas. White wasn't phased, though.
Bishop f5, bishop d3. Aw, I was hoping for bishop h3. Alright.
Yeah, I don't think it was quite working. There's
Yeah.
f4 ideas and the queen defends along the second rank.
Alright, so d8.
So this is an interesting idea, actually offering up two rooks for the queen.
Actually, yeah.
If rook takes d8 were to be played, but I think that would be pretty favorable for black due to the positioning of the bishops.
Yep.
So instead we saw queen b3, and now simply a trade. And this can't be worse for black. I don't think it can be better for black. In fact, I think rook d7 would be a pretty simple repetition.
I believe so too, because if rook d7, you gotta have to play rook e7, because if you play b5, your pawns are all like holes.
Yeah, b5 not a move you want to play. If you wanted, you could actually play rook b8 though, and then king e8 would be evicting this rook from d7. And perhaps this is Wesley's idea. We'll see a repetition first, but now I think rook b8 is actually a very, very real move to consider.
The other thing that we have to consider is that our players don't have to like play crazy. Well, I was not crazy, but they don't have to kill themselves for a win, because we only need
3 points to clinch the match.
A draw offer was made, and Wesley officially
declined. You love to see it. And I think I like this decision from Wesley. He isn't risking anything here.
Yeah.
The white rook is being evicted from the 7th rank, and definitely the black bishop is better than the white bishop here. And you might expect Wesley to expand on the queen side now. Yeah, b5, stuff like a5, a4, c5, c4 could all be
I think
coming.
you should put the king on I want to say 6, but that might be wrong.
Yeah, and Wesley really doesn't have to rush here. He's got plenty of time. the dark squared bishop for white is going to be kind of difficult to activate. In fact, you might consider a move f5, trying to really keep this bishop locked down.
Interesting, yeah.
Because otherwise, I think white will simply play e4 and try to get the bishop into the game in that manner.
The other thing is sometimes you just don't want to touch the minority pawns. Because if you do like f4, it would create chances of... I'm not entirely sure if I'm correct, but let's say f4, bishop f6, g4.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Oh, they went... okay, so he went for rook exchange and then decided not to?
Interesting that Wesley saw white commit to b3, and now he puts the rook on c8.
Nah, I don't want to change this.
Yes, suddenly c5 and c4 is becoming a very real idea.
Yeah, well, also the thing is, I was gonna say...
Oh, and now a draw was actually agreed. So it looks like Wesley decided enough was enough, and did take the draw here. Why don't we jump back to Hikaru's game, because they're still very early on, and Dominguez is getting into some serious time pressure.
Yes. Play.
So you were mentioning earlier, one downside to putting this pawn on a5 is that when a knight lands on c4, it is under pressure, and we see just that actually going on in this current position.
Being right in predictions. The knight on g5 is kind of really annoying, though. And it's going to jump on e6 and come to f4.
Yeah, I think this might be quite nice for Hikaru here, actually. So this knight does come to e6.
I'm not going to say it, but I think you're right.
Yeah, maybe there's knight f5.
Knight f4.
And then queen g4. It's a trick.
Yes.
Queen g4, I think, is the much better way to do this. So now you can respond to knight f4 with knight f5, and you've the dual threat of queen g7 and knight h6.
But there is this bishop g6.
Interesting. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I don't think this game might be annoying and hard for Dominguez to keep, but I don't think it's dangerous particularly.
Right.
It shouldn't be hard to keep a draw, I want to say. I might be wrong. Please don't be angry.
Yeah, white is always finding counterplay, right? Like now this knight's coming to b5, where it attacks the slightly weak c7 pawn. And there's also going to be ideas of the d4 breakthrough, kind of resolving all of these issues for white if he can manage to essay that move. So in fact, rook d1 defends the pawn and supports d4 as well.
And there could be maybe some knight e4s, knight c5s. I'm hopeful he's not gonna lose this game. All right, let's check it.
Yeah, Fabi seems to be quite far advanced.
Whoa,
he is
the
up
time.
6 minutes almost. But it is a pretty simple endgame position here.
So hold on, the games are 10 minutes and Fabi's up 5 minutes?
Yes. It's, of course, game in 10 with a 2-second increment. But Fabi moving quite quickly. And I think in this game quite well. I think he has good chances here. There's a knight d6 check that you have to be careful of. There's also...
maybe some...
even knight f6 could be played, forking the bishop and the pawn on h7. That f6 looks kind of powerful, actually.
I agree. And then the h7 pawn is kind of in the wind.
Yeah, unless there's some move with
checks,
tempo
probably.
that black could try to play.
Well, the problem is if you play like knight f... okay, there's this rook g2, and then the bishop f4 is kind of coming. Okay, the d5 bishop is under attack, but...
yeah, all pieces hanging.
Oh, everything is under attack, man.
As Dmitry Komarov would say. So you had simply bishop c6, and now there's still this threat of rook g2 to look out for. In fact, why not play a move like... it's tough. I want to find some way to stop this rook g2 idea. Maybe bishop h3, but it doesn't seem very natural. There's rook e3 check then.
Yes.
So what if we simply take on h7? Knight takes h7. How does the line go?
Rook g2.
Rook g2, king h3.
Bishop f4.
And then g6 check, I think looks quite strong, because now e7 is falling.
Yeah. King, no idea where. I want to say e8.
Yeah, king e8, maybe...
oh, wasn't rook c7 maybe?
Yeah, rook c7 and then rook c8.
Oh, rook c7, you can't. Bishop is on f4. Oops.
Oh, you're right. I don't know. It feels like everything's going to be resolved in the next few moves, and fortunately for Fabi, he has half his time to figure it out. Whereas Gusainov is kind of just going with the flow here.
The thing is, Rokjito is kind of the only threat that Black has. So I want to try and find a way to just dissolve it.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. Well,
maybe knight g4. No, I was kind of hopeful about knight h6.
Yeah. Well, I think we should actually let Fabi figure this one out.
Yeah.
Because I think Liem's position is I would call it crushing. I think he's going to win this game quite easily.
Okay. Yeah, that shouldn't even be a question.
Yeah, the two bishops and the strong e-pawns now.
And the time.
And the time difference. Bishop c3 is an interesting try. Trying to actually win this e-pawn back. But
does it work?
See what Liam Lee has in mind here. Feels suspicious.
I think you kind of have to play queen d3.
Yeah, queen d3. I suppose the idea is knight takes e5.
Well, if knight e5, you can just...
Feels like something should be hanging in the end,
right?
but maybe it's not.
The thing is, if knight e5, bishop e5, bishop e5, queen b3, rook b3, bishop d3 maybe? Or rook d3. And then if the rooks get exchanged, then you're attacking the c4 pawn.
Yeah, but it is opposite color bishops.
Yeah, it's not that easy. I agree.
It's not so simple to win.
Maybe judged a little too early.
Is there any other line though for white? I really don't see.
Oh, hold on. This guy is... Oh my god. He has 2 seconds now.
Oh, Dominguez, yeah, down to 2 seconds. No, all the pawns are falling. This is... Yeah, this one looks like Hikaru is taking home another win for the New York Marshals, unfortunately.
Well, Hikaru is their best player.
Oh, is there a takes b6? No, there's not.
That would be awesome.
There is rook c3 though, trying to hold it all together.
I don't think that's realistic, to be honest.
No, this is just dead.
Rook c7,
yeah. Pawn takes,
a4, yeah.
a4, a3, a2, and the game will be ending.
Let's take another look at Fabi Gusainov. Hold on. What happened? Alright, so rook c7 was played after 2.5 minutes of thinking.
Oh my goodness.
g2, king h3, take. Okay. Oh.
Wow. This is crazy. So takes and maybe pawn takes is Fabi's idea?
I wish I knew.
If you play rook takes, there's no way to defend g5. You're admitting to a draw there.
Yeah.
But if you play pawn takes, maybe you can pretend you have something, but I'm not sure I see it.
Okay, the king. Oh, I am sorry. I think the king is a little too cut off to realistically.
Bishop g4, right? Oh, I guess there's rook h1, and then that's
bishop
the end of that.
h3.
You need to check this king off of f7 somehow. But
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Oh, or you can just exchange off the
Or
h7.
you can try to win on time if you're Fabiano Caruana.
That could too. Check.
Whoa! I don't know about king g7. King e7 looked a lot simpler. Now we're getting rook and bishop versus rook. And with so little time on the clock, I think this is actually very, very decent winning chances.
Right. I agree. Yeah, this. Well, the king is still pretty cut off.
Well,
pretty cut off.
It's coming forward. I don't think you can keep the king cut off with the bishop on the board, because the bishop can always block the file, and then the king can slowly advance. And now simply rook h6 picks up this final pawn whenever Fabi wants it. Right? Okay.
Yeah, I think... Well, okay, this is a 2-result game. We shouldn't really be worried about it.
Yeah, no. Why don't we check out the final game still in action? Hikaru did manage to convert against Dominguez.
Yeah.
Why don't we see how Liam Lee is faring against Sam Sebian? Looks like the complications very much worked out in Liam Lee's favor here. This should just be a winning rook endgame.
Yeah, this shouldn't be dangerous at all.
Yeah, this rook comes to a1 now, and the a pawn will fall. Oh, even c4. and just this rook is trapped.
Oh.
You have to come to b4, and then rook takes a3 check, and now.
F5. Oh, wait.
Maybe that was a slip, actually. I don't know. Well, king g5 would be coming after.
I mean, this should be winning regardless.
This is There's nothing to be.
Oh.
Nothing to be done here.
Damn, that was nice.
Yeah, of course, if rook e4, there's f5 check, and that would spell doom. And Liam Lee wins on time. The final game in this round is this game between Fabiano Caruana and Gadir Gusainov, where Fabi has rook and bishop against rook. And we'll see if he manages to convert this. Now, I don't know about yourself, but I'm not up to date on my rook and bishop versus rook technique. So this is all going to look a little bit like random maneuvering to most eyes, including my own. I think in general the idea is you need to pin the king to the back rank, and you need to have the bishop positioned so that you can effectively block checks from the rook. And the problem with this is always, first of all, getting the king to the back rank, and then secondly, keeping this rook from causing too much trouble for you.
I agree. Well, the thing is, okay, I would like to assume that the Super Grandmasters would know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But there's always mouse slip, there's always simple cute blunders.
Right. And you see this bishop on g4 actually very nicely placed, controls the d1 square for the moment. And now, after bishop e4,
yeah, the king will come
the
king
can
to
come to the dark square.
You get a check.
Yeah, and you see the king and the bishop working together to really cut off all squares on the 6th rank, and only then will this rook come to the 7th, pushing the king further back. King f6 is nice. Can't take the bishop due to checkmate. And
bishop e6?
Bishop e6, king d8, rook h7. Oh, is that just winning? So bishop e6, king d8, rook h7.
Yeah.
You have to play some rook move, I suppose.
Yep.
But then there's rook d7, rook c7 as a threat. So I guess rook c5 is forced. Yeah, rook c5 is played. But now there's... Oh, it's so close. It's so close to being great. Wait, there's rook d6 with the bishop f7 threat.
Oh, yeah. Well, hold on.
No, simply rook d6, I think wins.
Yeah. Wait, rook d6 and rook c7?
Rook c7.
Such a hassle.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
then bishop f5.
Or rook a6.
No, bishop f5. Oh, wait, bishop f5. There's rook a6. You're better. You're better than me?
Not necessarily. Is it last on time?
Yeah. Win by timeout. I think this position, even though, is simply winning. Wow, so somehow, some way, Fabi brings home the full point.
Well, this was a really interesting match. Let's take a very, very short break because they're going to start soon again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
we will be...
before we could take the break, maybe we could see how much the points we're up now.
Yeah, so we scored
5.5, and then we got 2.5 now, so we are already at 8.
So we're at 8, so we've clinched the tie. We need a half point out of 4 in the final round.
It shouldn't be a hard thing to do,
So looking very good for the St. Louis Archbishops.
We will be back in a very short few minutes.
Yeah, be sure to join us for more live coverage of round 3 of the Pro Chess League match.
Yeah. All right. See you soon.
When you visit St. Louis, you'll probably want to watch the Cardinals or the Blues. What about after the game? Heading back to the hotel would be a major error. Instead, boogie through the city and discover the music that gave the blues their name at the National Blues Museum, Broadway Oyster Bar, or even the legendary Blueberry Hill. So whether you love the Cardinals, the Blues, or the blues, come play with us. Hey, you guys know I can't play this, right? St. Lou is always exploring.
Be surprised. Be intrigued. Be delighted. The World Chess Hall of Fame in St. Louis is nothing you'd expect and everything you love. 3 galleries highlight the history, culture, and creativity behind the game. Explore chess in ways you never imagined. It's a one-of-a-kind cultural institution where rare artifacts and world-class art play together. The World Chess Hall of Fame. Mind, art, experience.
Is that you, Mr. Matheny?
Can we get your autograph?
Yeah, of course.
I think it's pretty cool that you love chess so much. We love chess too.
I joined my school's chess program and got to meet a real-life grandmaster.
And I got a trophy this big.
One time I put a police captain after school and checkmated him in 27 moves.
Wow, I should be asking for your autographs. Check out all chess has to offer at stlouischessclub.org.
Welcome to the chess capital of the United States. The St. Louis Chess Campus in the heart of the vibrant Central West End has established itself as a premier global destination for chess and is comprised of two unique nonprofit institutions. The Chess Club and Scholastic Center of St. Louis is recognized as the top chess facility in the world and plays host to all major tournaments, including the U.S. Chess Championships and the Sinkfield Cup, one of the strongest chess tournaments globally. Tournaments are broadcast online to more than 150 countries, led by an expert commentary team of grandmasters. The Chess Club is an educational organization committed to promoting the game of chess, with a specific focus on bringing the benefits of chess to children throughout the St. Louis area. Research shows children who play chess exhibit improved analytical skills and increased confidence. The Chess Club is highly engaged with the local community, bringing scholastic chess programs to more than 100 schools, providing hundreds of classes each week. Directly across the street from the Chess Club is the World Chess Hall of Fame. This one-of-a-kind cultural institution invites visitors to experience chess in imaginative ways and is home to the U.S. and World Chess Halls of Fame. Cutting-edge exhibitions feature rare, historic chess artifacts paired with world-class art. Innovative programming explores the intersection of chess, art, and culture. Visitors can enjoy interactive programs designed around the exhibitions and monthly music in the galleries. The World Chess Hall of Fame is nothing you expect and everything you love. 3 different galleries and a premier gift shop highlight the culture, history, and creativity behind the game. Come visit, play chess, leave enriched. To learn more about the St. Louis Chess Campus, visit stlchesscampus.org.
You may have heard about St. Louis's world-class museums. Art, history, science, even magic. But you may not know we have an entire museum dedicated to play, with a 10-story slide and a Ferris wheel on top. Don't let all this family fun slide by you. Whose kids it is? St. Lou is always exploring. Anybody?
No matter your age or skill level, chess is a great game to learn and play. The St. Louis Chess Club offers affordable memberships for families, students, and individuals. There's so much going on at the club with lectures, classes, ladies' nights, and tournaments. In addition, there's always a grandmaster in residence to help teach, learn, and play. Come join us at the St. Louis Chess Club and see what chess has to offer.
opponents, winning game after game. The opposition has never been as heated, as fierce in both elite chess tournaments in the world.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the 2020 Pro Chess League match number 1 of the St. Louis Archbishops, world champions, against New York Marshals. Of course, 3 rounds have already been played of this 4-round match. We have 8 points so far, clinching a tie in the match. We just need a half point in this final round in order to
win. But hopefully our players are going to do, I want to say 4-0?
Yeah, let's 4-0 this final round. Once again, of course, my name is Caleb Denby. I'm joined by the wonderful Archbishop Dorsa Derakhshani, and we are giving you the live coverage today. And without further ado, I think the last round is just about getting started. Why don't we check it out? Of course, in this final round, board 1 plays board 1, board 2 plays board 2, board 3 plays board 3, and board 4 plays board 4. Yeah. We have board 1 Nakamura against board 1 Caruana, Gadir Gusainov against Leinier Dominguez, Wesley So against Sam Sevian, of course, Liem, our champion, board 4 against Miranda for the New York Marshals.
That should be, I want to say, doable match.
Easy win, I think is the word you're looking for.
Thank you. I was trying to give it more benefit.
No, I trust Liem to get the job done. And in fact, I trust all of these matches to be very heavily favored for us, including Fabi Caruana against Karu Nakamura. I think a lot of people think Fabi doesn't quite have the same chops in Rapid and Blitz as he does in classical chess, but I think they're very much wrong. I think Fabi is world class in any form of chess, and I expect him to take down Nakamura
maybe just because he's better in classic doesn't mean he can't be good at those.
Obviously,
some people are better in Rapid than they're better in classic,
right.
But that doesn't mean that they're just not one of the best then.
Of course.
Yeah.
Fabi, a world-class player, and Nakamura hoping to get it done for the Marshals, but I'm expecting a 4-0 result, or at least we can hope for the Archbishops here.
Yeah. This game was interesting. Italian, well, I want to say Italian, but something...
Yeah, there's some kind of difference here. An early knight a5 from Black as well.
I am so sorry. This has a
Vienna?
Yeah. This is that, and I think there's a bishop b4 idea here too, but knight a5 is the stronger move.
Oh, okay. So the Vienna is usually noted by an early f4 push from White, and we don't actually see that in this game, but perhaps that's due to the way that Black had played. And yeah, so we see queen f3.
I think the next few moves for Black should be to push this pawn, so to avoid any kind of b4, if just precaution. And then you could try and relocate the knight to maybe d7, c5, or even if you wanted to go full on, try and putting it on d4. But I do feel like this knight could be relocated.
Right. So it's interesting that you're mentioning all these queenside plans. Of course, White's play is generally going to be in the form of a kingside attack here. This is what he's kind of telegraphing. Brings this knight to g3. Perhaps this knight's coming to f5. The queen's already committed to the f3 square. Expect to see ideas of bishop takes h6 and knight takes h6. And so by bringing this knight from f6, it seems like you're removing a defender, but actually you're allowing the queen to come to f6 if ever necessary.
Yeah. And, well, Black could also try and have ideas with, ideally, f5 to completely call the attack off.
Right. f5, while sometimes a weakening move, in this case, it brings the rook into the action and allows the rook to be both an active attacker and a nice defender for the Black
but
king.
I think that's something for Fabi to decide. But hold on. Is Hikaru trying to do long castle over here? Okay, the knight was maneuvered to be so that.
So yeah, knight h7.
I was right. They did relocate the knight. Maybe not the direction I was going, but.
Yeah, and actually the h4 square might be a good spot to put this queen.
Yeah, and then maybe something like knight g5. Oh yeah.
Hitting f2, working with the knight to attack the e4 square as well. A lot of good things happening for Fabi here.
Yeah,
I quite like his position. And,
I think he's comfortable in this position.
I always favor the bishops as well, and that's another edge for Fabi. This queen does come to h4, and now I think Nakamura also understands the power of the bishops, and he tries to take off this dark squared one.
Maybe d8 to call it a bluff. If you take, I take back.
Yeah, rook d8, but I am a little wary of this bishop on b2 if we allow white to capture on c5.
But white is going to capture on c5 regardless.
Yeah, on the other hand, well, you do have bishop b4 if you want.
c3.
Yeah, and that's
bishop c3.
So c3 would kind of stunt the bishop, right? If c3, maybe simply bishop back to c5. Or even a5,
right.
and now you've locked off this bishop.
Now I see. You didn't. It's not that you wanted to keep your bishop. You wanted to make it more uncomfortable for the opponent,
Exactly.
so it wouldn't be so straightforward. Nice.
Well, now after bishop c3, there's actually bishop a3, and it's a little unclear. The bishops are getting traded.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a little time off of this game and let Fabi do some moves without we judging him. All right. Let's take a look at Wesley So against the
Sam Sevian.
Yeah.
And this looks like, I'm going to say it, Benoni. Hopefully I'm right this time.
But like, yeah, you've been waiting for your Benoni.
I've been waiting for it. But yeah, so we do have just a standard Benoni here.
I played some weird stuff with Benoni as black too a while ago. It was not me too.
What? I'm sorry, what was that?
I played some weird stuff with. So I prepared a game for it was like a norm round. I think it was 2015, and I wanted to do this weird b5. So like, I could be wrong, but it was something like maybe here b5.
Yeah, b5 takes knight c3 and then e6.
Yes,
I've seen something like this before.
And then my opponent just did very logical, very reasonable moves, and I was busted, and yeah, it didn't work out.
Yeah,
so.
it's like you're pretending you're going to play the Benko, but then instead you play e6 and bishop b7, and you get this pressure on the center. But okay, instead we have a pretty standard Benoni, and white chose knight f3 and bishop f4.
Oh, I have to say, I'm kind of impressed. Wesley So's airport connection is still going on.
Yeah, of course, some insider info here. Wesley So, believe it or not, is playing from an airport. I'm not sure which one, but the airport Wi-Fi connection holding out for the moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully it continues to stay that way. Maybe that's something, some way that the New York Marshals could get back into this match is if all our players disconnect. But
well,
hopefully no such travesties will occur.
Yeah, it would be very unlikely. It's not like they're it's
right.
Yeah.
It's 2020 after all. I mean, surely we can expect a good connection.
I mean, the opening went out pretty smoothly. I feel like both sides have good fighting chances, honestly. And so the Sevian isn't an easy player. So
definitely,
you shouldn't.
He took down Fabio earlier in the match, so it's anybody's game.
So it's not unreasonable to play a little bit more cautious, or just it's interesting, least of all to say. Well, right now this b7 pawn is a little wiggly.
Yeah, a little under pressure, and you do not want to commit to b6 because then that makes playing a6 and b5 much more difficult.
And it gives a clear a4, a5 path.
Definitely.
Knight was relocated to d2.
Oh, that's interesting. I would not have expected that, but I guess
well,
he's
the problem
just
is there is
preparing
this
for
b5 coming, maybe.
Yeah,
but why not a4?
A4 is the standard way of dealing with b5,
that's what I thought.
And I would have expected to see that here as well. Interesting though. So knight d2 is his choice. Perhaps he's aiming for an e6 square. Now this looks like an idea. Knight f3 to g5 to e6, and that looks quite devastating if this were to pass.
Are you going to do it with f4 or keep your pawn here to keep defending the bishop?
I was thinking just straight knight f3 without f4.
What if h6?
H6, maybe then you're running into bishop d3 ideas and some light squared weaknesses.
White should be good in this. I don't really have doubts in this one. How is our Dominguez doing?
Yeah, here we see Leinier and yet another Sicilian, and it looks as though there's some very nice pressure on the c file. There, white or black is a pawn down. That's a good point.
Where's my pawn?
But okay, I mean you can play b5,
yeah.
and you're very nearly breaking through onto c2.
Yeah, and this is not an easy match either.
Definitely not.
How has might be a we might not have a clear answer for this, but do we know the exact results that Derakhshani did?
I'm not totally sure. I can actually find that really quickly here if you give me a moment.
Sure.
And I did want to say in this game, I think f6 might be an interesting idea. Try and open up the bishop. I feel like that's going to be very, very relevant, whether or not this dark squared bishop can get into the game. And yeah, Gusainov actually not having the best performance for the marshals. He scored just a half point out of 3. Okay. He fell down to our combo, Fabiano on board 1 and Wesley on board 2. Both managed to score the win against Gusainov.
All right, so hopefully this... Well, again, we only need half a point and 4 boards to win this match, so
Absolutely.
It shouldn't... I mean...
Yeah, but every point counts. There's a lot to play for. Rook G8 was actually his choice. Interesting. If Rook G8 is being played, I don't know if I'm such a fan of what's going on here. Of course, the idea is to take on f4 and then invade with something like Rook G2. But at the same time, what if, simply knight D4.
B5?
And B5 is totally playable. I'll just take the time to play, I think, Rook 3 to D2.
Yeah, I have to say, unfortunately, I like to be white in this position.
I like white quite a bit, and as I was saying earlier, I think the key point is this bishop on h8. I don't see a clear path back into the game, and if this bishop isn't playing, well, it's tough to prove anything.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. But let's take a look at this game.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Liem Lee yet against Miranda.
Okay, so far I like what I see at this point, at this moment. But let's take a look at see how the opening went.
Right.
All right, good old Catalan.
Everybody loves the Catalan. We see an early c5 from Miranda, actually. Not so much a main line there.
Yeah, and they're also early taking on c4.
Okay. And so white goes ahead and gets developed. Of course, there's no g5 because of the pin on the h file. Rook D1. Looks just like a comfortable lead in development here for white. But
why can't they just make castle?
Yeah, so black is, I'm sure, intending to castle at the next available opportunity. But in the meantime, is there any way we can take advantage of this lead in development to maybe try and grab one of these queenside pawns? A move like, queen a4,
nice.
Hitting a7 looks tempting. Maybe you have to play a6, but a6 isn't my favorite move in the world for black here. In fact,
there's some e4s maybe? E4, F4, push.
Ooh, wow. Okay. I'm not ready for all that. I just want to poke around on the queen side a little bit. I don't see how you defend this pawn, actually.
Probably a6?
Yeah, so maybe there's also bishop c5, but maybe bishop c5. So he gives up the pawn. I was going to say, I think a problem with a6 is simply queen b3, and then you have the same type of problem except with the b pawn.
Yeah, and then if you push b5, there's always this a4, yeah.
Excuse me.
You're good.
So I think queen a7 here must be the way to prove an edge.
How are you doing in the chat? What do you think? Any questions, comments, suggestions?
Someone is saying there's some of the tension in these positions, and I agree. These players are masters at deciding when they need to clarify things and when to keep things complicated, and more often than not, they like to keep it complicated.
Yeah. Let's see. What else we got?
So I think queen a7, and I'm not sure what he's worried about specifically. There is bishop c5 ideas, but first, queen b7 is a problem.
I will take that pawn.
So queen a7, what is black's idea there?
If queen b7?
If queen a7. Interesting that he chooses not to take.
What am I missing?
I don't get it. I just don't get it. Maybe bishop c5,
queen b7.
Queen b7. Is there? Can I play knight g4 and just brute force?
Just rook f3.
Rook f3. Absolutely. And then my rook is also hanging on b6 as well. So it's. Yeah, I would have preferred to see Liem Lee take this pawn on a7, but perhaps he's thinking along the mindset: we need a half point. I'm going to get the half point. The other players can try to win if they want. I'm clinching the match, which is not a bad way to approach a match play like this.
I agree.
Okay. Quite a bit has happened with Fabi against Hikaru. It looks like there's a huge imbalance of two rooks for the queen.
Hold on.
I'm holding.
No, I'm telling them to hold on. Stop moving.
Yeah, my goodness.
Stop moving. Please let
If nothing else, we use the arrow keys maybe to get. So yeah, we saw Queen H4.
Knight A4. We did see this. Bishop go to A3. We did see A5.
A5, and yeah, Knight G5 was very much expected.
Uh-huh.
Oh, F4. Okay. So F4 drives this knight backwards.
I have to say, F4 was a good breakthrough.
Yeah, F4 looks very, very nice. Yeah, now F5 is coming through, and this queen on H4, while active, is starting to feel a little bit kind of trapped in front of the pawns.
Kind of hurts to look at.
Yeah, Bishop G3, and this queen is already getting quite kicked around.
Oh, come on, just repeat. I mean, yeah, unless there was something wrong with it. So
yeah,
this
so
is
knight
where
F5,
he gave up the
and
imbalance.
yeah, Fabi decided to go for this.
Oh, this was a nice tactic, actually. Knight G5.
Yeah, this is some high level
take
stuff.
It. You gotta take it. You gotta take it. Your queen doesn't have anywhere else to go. Huh.
And then there's Knight E7 to save the piece. And so queen takes queen, bishop D7, and this knight on E7 is a little bit stuck, but there's no real way to take advantage
unless
of this.
You take F6.
Yes.
For
and
free.
the knight does escape through C6.
Oh man. Wait, why is H4?
I don't understand.
It's all these things I'm never gonna understand.
Maybe there was some knight E5. I think that was the point, right?
But you just take it back. And King G7.
So if you go back to H4, I thought maybe White wanted to play knight takes E5, but was worried about bishop F4, so H4 could drive the bishop away, but then he didn't follow through with this idea, which is confusing to me.
I mean,
you see what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, but can't you just also just take this?
Yeah.
There's no immediate threat, and then you can slowly start pushing your guys.
Well, F5 could be a nice way to gain counterplay.
Yeah.
Well, what happened in the game, though? Let's catch up, because they're playing a lot of moves.
Okay, so White went for the pawns. Why is my... Okay.
And F5 does come.
Whoa, dude.
This is a wild endgame.
My head hurts. Ouch. Whoa. I don't think I can say anything else but whoa.
Yeah, this is beyond me.
I need alpha 0 here.
So at first glance, it looks as though the white pawns on the queen side are going to be quite dangerous. They're a bit further advanced than black's center, and G4. My goodness. So this move, I think, is good news for Fabi. If nothing else, you can play king takes G4.
Queen E4.
Yeah, I'll just play rook F4, and I don't think you can win this game. I think I'm going to always have some perpetual, right? There's no shelter for the white king.
Right.
But perhaps you can play king E6 here.
Queen E4.
Rook
and then
F2,
the G6 is also
rook
hanging.
F8, and G6 is hanging. Well, okay. I'm out of ideas. King F4. I'll do it.
The problem is if you play king F4, there's this nasty queen G3.
Right.
So you kind of you only have, I want to say 2 realistic options. King G5, if you can call that realistic, and king takes. King G5, queen E4. Where do you go? Your E5 pawn is hanging.
Yeah, no, this is, maybe this move is quite nice for
G4 was awesome. Kudos. Let's take a quick look at this game. What is going on?
So many things have happened.
Lots. They play fast.
Okay. Why not queen... I was just going to say queen A7, but I guess knight F5 is defending.
You were right. What?
That's mate 1. What? Hello?
Okay.
Okay. You had to play knight F5 there.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Knight B5 is
okay,
obscene.
we won the match.
Well, oh yeah, we did it.
Congratulations.
Champions. What a way to end it.
Your mic.
Yeah.
All right, we won. Thank you, Fabiano.
That was so strange. Knight F5 was obvious.
Yeah, well, it would still. I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's problems. Rook E1 might be coming.
This knight G3 could be a little gnarly.
Yeah, I mean, this game's far from over if knight F5 gets played.
I agree.
I don't know how this was missed. And like knight b5 is such a strange move. Like if you think you have knight b5, there's no way your opponent would have allowed this, right? Like you don't play queen a7 if knight b5 is possible. You don't do it. You don't allow this fork.
You don't play queen a7. I'm thinking your opponent's gonna play knight b5. So
that was crazy. So Wesley So clinching the match for us, bringing us up to 9 points.
Oh, I love this picture.
Yes, Wesley with a very nice cat as the avatar.
It's a cute cat. All right.
Yeah, so this game, wow, this is... I was going to say it looked better than the last time we looked, but it looked pretty bad the last time we looked. This is giving up the exchange, no?
But if you move the rook, regardless of where you go, there's this check here. Take the 8, bye-bye.
Looks like checkmate.
Oh, God.
So rook g4 forced, and...
We've already won the match. That's all that matters.
The exchange is falling... Maybe you can pretend here. The white pawns are pretty fractured. You have good chances, I think, to pick up this e5 pawn. But in the end, you know, rooks are better than bishops.
Realistically, this should be a doable win for our opponents.
Yeah. But, okay, let's think about it, right? So let's say knight b4, rook b4, and then I don't know what white wants to play, but I'm going to play king e7, king e6, and I'm going to make a serious attempt to take this e5 pawn. A serious attempt.
Good.
But, you know, obviously there's going to be problems for black as well. Maybe things like rook h3 could come, and then the h pawn is going to be very difficult to stop if you manage to play rook h7.
Maybe there's this knight check too. Oh, wait, hold on. Dave.
Yeah, moves have been played. Takes, e6. Ah, so this is white's idea. Rather than allow black the option to try and take out this pawn, you're trading it off for the f pawn. So Leinier, of course, obviously very, very low on time. And okay, with this 2 rooks against rook and bishop is a lot easier to try to hold than 1 bishop versus 1 rook.
I mean, we just saw mate blunder, so it's not... Could still could happen.
It's pretty dead.
I mean, if you play king f2.
He could play king f2, but this one should be a win.
I agree.
Rather than waste time here, why don't we get back to this Fabi game, because this is ridiculous.
Where were we? We were somewhere here.
Yeah, we just saw g4.
Okay,
Fabi did opt for king takes g4. And he goes for king h5, giving up on that e pawn as well. And after g4, we see Fabi making quite a bit of...
Is there a check here, maybe? Could you go back?
I think king h4, and maybe Fabi's ready to accept a perpetual.
All right.
But instead we see rook f3, and I'm not so sure things are moving in the right direction for Hikaru. In fact, I think things are moving towards chances for Fabi. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see... Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Hikaru take the perpetual here.
G3.
Oh, king g5, though. King g5 and there's no checks. Queen f2 is a strange decision.
No.
Yeah, h5, you take the pawn. Maybe simply rook 8 to e4. Or just rook e4.
c7 kind of scares me.
Yeah, okay. You make a point.
Oh, we have another result. Okay.
So Gusainov did actually defeat Dominguez in this game, as we expected. It's important to note, though, Hikaru down to 8 seconds. Just 8 seconds on the clock.
Yeah.
I think
let's take a quick look at...
Oh, okay. Yeah, this game also in severe time pressure. Liam Lee up 3 pawns, and...
Hold on, it's 3. Yes.
Oh, wait. But no, this is... Oh,
perpetual.
This is...
I mean...
You can give the knight. I think you should give the knight, right? No, okay, they take the draw. You could play king g1 if you really, really wanted to try.
No.
But yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, I agree. This was a good result.
We'll take the draw there. And so let's jump back to this last game going on between Hikaru Nakamura.
Oh God, what is going on?
Fabiano Caruana. So, my goodness. Okay.
Check.
And we see Fabi repeating a bit. I think king h4 is a very reasonable way to try to win this game. King h4, what happens? What does white play? Queen f6 check, you have king g3, and you're going to run out of checks, and I'm threatening mate.
Whoa.
Okay, he goes for this instead. You can't play rook takes c6 due to queen d5 check, picking up the rook.
Oh, yeah.
You can play either rook to e2, I think. Okay, rook c3 instead.
Honestly.
And while severe time pressure.
Check. There should be a perpetual at least.
Yeah, Fabi's risking a lot here. With the rooks, you do have
rook c5,
some
and
ideas
this
of checkmating, but you always have to look out for nasty like queen forks. You know, there's always some queen check that can threaten to pick up a rook. Wait a second. So yeah, simply rook takes queen. Oh my god. Oh my god. Fabi does it again.
Hold on, wait a second.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
We were all a little bit in shock there, but.
Alright, so king f4, rook f3.
Yeah, there's no way to. The king has to.
I mean, you could just play king e4.
King e4? No, just rook e2 and then rook.
And then king d4.
Rook d2.
Oops.
Yeah.
Right, never mind.
Yeah, this is just.
Why can't just go king f1?
I guess king f1 is forced actually, and I think this was the blunder. But hold on. Well, king f1. I mean, obviously it's not so simple, right? There's ideas of maybe playing g3 with g2 check, and then rook e1 being mate if you simply try to queen. So yeah, let's say check. If king f1 was the key line, right?
This is rotating king, yeah.
So yeah, king f1, maybe g3. Well, there's queen h3.
Yes.
It's all too much. Obviously, king f1 is a better try.
Why can't I just play rook c5 and pick this guy up?
Yeah, this is possible as well. And so yeah, a lot of different ways Hikaru could have tried to hold that game, but this one ending up going Fabi's way. And with that, the match is concluded. The St. Louis Archbishops do it again, taking an early lead in I think our division by winning our first match. We have the final results. Hikaru Nakamura falls to Fabi Caruana in that super complicated 2 rooks versus queen endgame. Usainov does score a win in this match against Leinier Dominguez. Wesley So defeats Sam Sevian, and Liem Lee draws Miranda on board 4, bringing us to our final score of 5.5 for the New York Marshals to 10.5 for the St. Louis Archbishops. A very convincing win, and with that, our score in the division goes to 10.5, and then we get a bonus 10 points for winning the match.
Wow,
so we'll be up to
20.5
points after 1 round of play.
That is pretty awesome, I have to say.
So be sure to tune in next Monday when we will be squaring off against the UK Lions, I believe at an earlier start time. It sounds like 12:30 p.m. will be the start of that match. But I think that concludes our coverage of today's games. Any final thoughts, Dorsa?
I'm still a little both shocked and impressed. I'm sure a bunch of other stress levels going up and down.
Yeah, that was
really
among the craziest rook endgames I've ever really seen.
Yeah, I feel a little ashamed I have to go work on my endgames. But yeah, no, this was an awesome win. Congratulations to all the players and the team manager, obviously Mike. Yeah, I'm very glad with the games and the results. This was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Dorsa. It was a pleasure doing commentary with a real-life Archbishop. Be sure to tune in for our upcoming broadcasts. Of course, we'll be back here next week, I think, with the same coverage of the Pro Chess League. We also have the Cairns Cup coming up in February. With that in mind, that'll be a 10-player round robin with the top female players in the world. I don't think the roster's just yet announced, or not roster, the players are announced just yet, but that will be coming out soon, so keep your eyes peeled. Running from February 6th to the 17th on uschesschamps.com for more details.
Cairns Cup is like the female version of Singfield Cup, I
guess,
something
right.
like that. Yeah.
So the Singfield Cup is for the top overall players in the world. This is for the top female players in the world to get a chance to shine here in St. Louis. So with that in mind, thank you all so much for joining us here today. We will be seeing you next Monday. And with that in mind, congratulations once again to the St. Louis Archbishops. And we and we will see you next time.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club.